Ah, I see you've brought guests. Welcome, friends.
Well, we might as well kick off. My girlfriend's going to walk out of the room quickly unless she wants to say hi. You can say hello if you want. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Rogue Room. My name is... What's my name again? I forgot. I think it's on. It's down there somewhere. There. One of those. Hello. Welcome to the Rogue Room. I am your host, the Abigail Beck. The Abigail Beck. And we just got back from going out to dinner. I had a huge plate of nachos. It was fucking great. How was your stream, Conquest? How'd you go? We're such a hot couple. We are. We're a couple of words I can't say on... Well, lesbians. We're a cute couple of lesbians. Hello, Bunny. How's it going? I'm gonna put flashy lights on because, you know, production value is a crucial thing when you're trying to be an entertainer, and I like to think I have at least, like, a little bit of production value, maybe, if I can be bothered. Hello, Coconut. What are you doing? Anyway, we're gonna catch up on some shit that I've missed over the past couple of weeks, roughly. Played Cruelty Stream. What's Cruelty Stream? That sounds amazing. You're gonna go to bed. That's a vibe. Whenever I finish stream, I'm like, yeah, it's time for me to pass the fuck out. How's it going, folks? Welcome back. Welcome back. Tonight we're looking at the Cruelty Squad. Oh, okay. There we go. We're gonna look at the Rittenhouse trial, or at least some articles relating to it. We're gonna look at Daphne Dorman, which is a name you might be familiar with if you might have seen that Dave Chappelle thingo a little bit ago. And for no particular reason, I just felt like looking at Ridley Scott's comments on the MCU, because we were given the MCU shit last night, I think. We should look at the GTA trilogy thing, actually. That would be kind of amusing. Because if I recall correctly, Jimquisition did a video which we could just react to and get their thoughts on it. You know, but I've already formed my opinion without having purchased the game. What? Why are you staring at me? What?
You're amazingly pretty.
You say that into the microphone, maybe.
I think they heard me.
You think they heard me? Anyway.
If they can hear us kissing out there, then yes, they can.
Yes, true. There was some kissy, smoochy last night, and the microphone was on, and you fuckers could hear it, which, well, now you're saying... So I'm hearing we did, and did we? I don't know. Did you? What did you hear? What were you listening, you perverts? Anyway. Abby and Maddie are my favorite couple, says Forlorn. There we go. We were gay shit. We were like, we were hanging out with some friends on Sunday night, being all like not responsible and socializing. Is PDA TOS? I don't think so. I mean, it depends how far you take it, I guess. Smoochies. What was I gonna say? Yeah, we were hanging out and, you know, just as a nice, cute little romantic gesture all night. We were holding hands and kissing. Not too much to make everyone uncomfortable. Calling each other the F-slow, that kind of, you know, cozy shit. Anyway, normal stuff that couples do. Anyway, I just wanted to bring up the, you know. Did I flex? Oh, was there a flex redeem? There was, and I didn't do it. Here we go. Us. I've still got the guns. The guns are still on. There we go. Muscle girls in dresses. Let's go. Do you like this dress? It's a cute dress. Anywho, yeah, we're going to talk about the Rittenhouse trial shortly, or at least a little bit of it. Fuck Kyle, free Larry Hoover. Who's Larry Hoover? I'm not caught up on all of the things relating to American crime drama. Anywho. She's just gonna stay in the doorway, which is really intimidating. Larry Hoover. Larry Vacuum, yes. Oh shit, yeah, I forgot to sign it. For those, I don't know if anyone's outside of Australia. Here in New South Wales, we have to use an app to sign into like every single public venue we go to. And because I was out tonight, having din-dins with the fam, as you say, in your olden times, I had to check in there, and now it badgers me. It sends me a notification on my phone saying shit like, hey, you didn't sign out, dickhead. Pardon? What? What's wrong with it? Anyway. Oh, now Forlorn's redeeming hugs. Okay, you can have hugs mostly because Maddie's got makeup on. Anyway. I got my... No, true. There you go. Smoochies. Gay shit. Right, we're doing gay shit on stream, but like G-rated. Actually, no, it wouldn't be G-rated,
Your
would it?
stream isn't G-rated.
No, my stream isn't G-rated. I just said cunt like, what, 2 minutes ago? Cunt. This is a family-friendly stream, you fucking cunts. But I was just thinking, it's like, you know, two girls kissing would definitely not be G-rated in, like, most rating systems when you think about it. Like, it just like a peck. Like that kiss in fucking Star Wars. Wasn't Star Wars like the last one where they had the lesbian kiss in the background? Wasn't that rated like R18 plus for homosexuality or something like that? Probably. You know, Disney. Anyway. Stop showing me your tits.
I'm not showing you my tits. Fuck you, you're looking.
G-rated for gamer. Gamer moment. Gamer moments are when you make out with your girlfriend on twitch.tv. Anyway. We're gonna do stuff. Let me turn my lights off because my lights, or these ones, need to change. Oh, the other ones are still on thingo too. Put that on perp. Put this one back on regular colors because as cute as having all the flashy lights is, it gets confusing. Anyway, you've got a top on, you do. But let's concede something really quickly. The shirt she's wearing on the both of us is very. What's the word I'm looking for? Like it's very flattering to the chest region, no matter who wears it. Okay, now you're just showing it. Now you're doing it on purpose.
No, I'm showing it's yours.
Showing the top. She's wearing my shirt, which is very cute on her. Anyway, and yeah, it's a very flattering. Like this dress. Like this is just a very. If anyone were to wear this dress, it's just remarkable.
It's amazing.
It's magic. I tell you, it just. I don't know what it does. Anyway, it would not look flattering on me. I swear, this top is magic. The shirt is not the.
not the top.
Not
the
top. The top, the shirt that the top is wearing. That's a gay joke. Anyway, let's move on. Should we get into content, or should we catch up? Everybody in chat, first and foremost, you know, we've been rambling for the first 6 minutes and 30 seconds. More than that, actually. Yes, tops, bottoms, that whole thing. You will literally buy it and post a selfie to prove it. You're not even joking. I think. I said that was from H&M. Check the tag. Is it from H&M? Well, you're off camera. Anyway,
like that, won't you?
What have you folks been up to today? Say hello, say hi, say Abby, we love you. And that's what we need. We need what we need right now. Before we do any real content, I need you to do this. Oh, and now Keffels is rating me. Hello, Keffels.
Welcome.
Hi,
friends.
Keffels. How are you doing? How was your stream? Sorry, I dipped in and then immediately took off to go eat nachos at the club. Hello, friendos. Can we get some Abby I love yous in chat?
Abby,
what up,
I
folks?
love you.
Well, look at that. You said it so many times that it came from off screen. Anyway, it's JJ's. Oh, there we go. It's from JJ's. Poggers. How'd your stream go? What'd you get up to? I saw you were catching up on ye old Blanchard, which is always fun. You inspired a tweet. Anyway, it's JJ's. I don't know. Anyway, JJ's sizing's very small. They make their... If anyone ever shops at JJ's, which is like... I guess they're an Australian retail brand, generally speaking. Did we get a shout? Oh, can we get some shout outs? Yeah, we did. Okay. There's just so much going on. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Rogue Room. I am Abigail Beck. I'm one of the gays registered trademark. So expect me to talk about that, I suppose. I don't know. I also played the Elden Ring network test recently, and that's my entire personality in one brief little synopsis. Anyway. I have a girlfriend too. So, you know, just to crush any hopes and dreams you might have. I may look submissive and breedable, but I'm not available, so, you know. Anyway. There's a Keffels video we should watch. We could do that, but like, here's a thought for the streamers in the stream at the moment. Have you ever been in a stream where someone's reacting to your video? Right, I have been. I've been in a couple of streams now where people have been watching my videos, which is weird. And how do you feel about that? If you are content creators who've got content out there that people are reacting to, have you ever watched someone react to your content? How do you feel about it? There are only two personalities left, Catboy and Elden Ringer. I'm going to transition into being an exclusively Elden Ring channel when it fully releases. Just like, you know, seems like they're making content out of your work. I mean, I'm fine with people reacting to my stuff. I don't put a lot of effort into this. Let's be real here. That's cute. Okay. Okay, enough lights. Enough flashy lights. I don't want to give anyone a seizure. Okay. Why am I charging my phone? It's on 82%. It's fine. You'd be unbelievably surprised that anyone has seen said content. A kiss and a... We have the best stream highlights. What is this? Pardon? True. I should get stream highlights together, honestly. I'm not one of those streamers that creates a whole highlight reel to say, this is who I am. Anything that exists of yours is a YouTube shitpost. I mean, I like to think of myself as a YouTube shitposter, generally speaking. I've got to come up with something for, like, this Friday. I'm supposed to have a video up this Friday. Anyway, I want to see what this actual clip is. What do we got? I haven't seen this clip yet. Let's have a gander, shall we? Stop playing. I haven't actually... What do we have? What do we have? Anywho. She's gonna stay in the doorway. There we go. Okay, a poll. Redeem a poll. Okay. If we're gonna do some sort of content, we have to actually get started. Carbonated drink. Carbonated sugar drink. Okay. Okay. So, may I extrapolate? I'm probably going to offend some people here. Or are you referring to like what they're known as? Alright, whatever. We'll go carbon. Is this like how you refer to them? Or is this like... is it how you refer to soft drink? Because I've heard some people actually refer to anything as Coke. Yeah, which is weird. Like, not everything's Coke. What? They're all wrong. They're all wrong? It's just soft drink. It's just, yeah, we call it soft drink. I have always known it as just soft drink. You report... You can report the poll. Holy shit, you can. Wait, really? Oh my god. Please put your call. Yeah, I should. That's a good point, Phage. Yes, if you're going to request a poll, please please phrase it as a question. That's a good idea. Seal Joxo, did you change your name? You changed your name. A horrible 1.6k away from a nice achievement. If you have a fuck to spare, well, I mean, I have the give a heck channel point reward. But if you would kindly follow the channel if you want, you might regret it. Honestly, you might not end up liking that decision, but it would help me out. And ultimately, as a content creator, everything you do should be to benefit me. So, you know, follow the channel and subscribe and shit if you want. I have a coffee. Give me your money so I can eventually make these fantastic tits even bigger through the magical power of the modern science of surgery. Anyway, there is a war in the States as to whether it's called soda pop or Coke. As in soda pop or soda and pop or Coke? Pardon? 3 words? Oh, did Keffel say if they were okay with that be showing that video? Because I'll show it if we want to go back to it. Which is why I asked the question, honestly. It's sort of interesting. You knew an old Aussie guy that called it pop. Holy crap, that's scary. That's scary to me. That terrifies me. The sheer fact that there might be an Australian who calls it pop. It's not that terrifying. It's just weird. Slang is strange, isn't it? They might have rated and ran. Maybe. I don't mind. Yeah. We argue if it's called a canteen or a tuck shop, potato cake or potato scallop. Seriously, here's the thing. Pardon? Scallop. We call them scallops here. They're scallops. But the thing that gets me is I have a friend who's a Melburnian who lives here in New South Wales. And I was talking to her recently. Can someone time out Hayley for 60 seconds, please? Hayley's been naughty. Put her in the timeout corner. Someone has to have the power to time out Hayley for 60 seconds. My friend, the Melburnian, who moved to New South Wales quite a few years ago, refers to it as Melbourne. Melbourne. I was talking to her. I'm like, oh yeah, I wouldn't mind visiting Melbourne one day. She goes, it's Melbourne. There's no A in it. I don't know where you got that idea from. She's from the bloody place. She's from Melbourne and she calls it Melbourne. I'm like, you drongo? I don't even call people drongos. I don't like the term. I don't like anything that intensely associates me with the country of my birth, honestly. But Melbourne. No, I didn't. I'm gonna fucking start calling people drongos now. I'm gonna do it. Fuck it. I'm gonna embrace the Australian for the hell of it. Content. Yeah. Melbourne. I go Melbourne. Like Melbourne. Not like Melbourne. Melbourne. It's a very awkward way to pronounce it. Draco, you're a fucking drongo, man. Yeah, it is a very awkward way to say it. That's another word where I'm like, it's like us. Like, I know ochre is spelled that way. When we say ochre in terms of Australian, it means someone who's very much... How do you define... Like, the stereotypical Australian. Stereotypical Aussie. That's what ochre is. Malcolm Turnbull changed it. Did he? You gotta keep that poll idea in mind. Yeah. To correct you... Well, I mean, she wasn't really... It wasn't as serious, like, I'm going to break your spirit by correcting you on pronunciation, but... Pronunciation? What is... I don't know. Pronunciation. I'm getting corrected on my English from all sides here. I'm under attack. I am being cancelled right now. Anywho. I should change my stream tags, actually. We'll change this one to news. Because I don't need 2 tags related to mental health. Anyway. We'll keep autistic and we'll put the news in there. We'll chuck the news in there. Help! I'm being repressed. Here's a thought, though. Here's a question. Because I know, like, some people do use the tag system. Who uses the tag system to find new streamers? I'm curious, because that's an option now. Now that we've got the tags... That is a portal gun, yes. I don't keep batteries in it. I used to keep it on during streams. It burns through batteries like nothing else. It lights up. It's got a bunch of little lights on it, including, like, the barrel thing, whatever it's called. It lights up. Yeah, they got pronoun tags, and they've got, like, all these tags. Like, I've got transgender, LGBTQIA+, autistic, Australia, news, you know. You found me from Riverboat Jack. That's really cool. I love Jack. Jack's cool. Usually don't assume the suggestions, use them a bit, but you do look at suggestions sometimes. Find new streamers via raids. Yeah, generally speaking, when I'm looking at new streamers, I find them either via raids or via Twitter. You know, somebody will quote tweet someone who is also a streamer, and I'll go check their stream out. Hello, Uwu, how's it going? Anywho, yeah, I mean, I suppose it would probably depend on what kind of content you're looking for specifically. But, I mean, I feel like the enhanced tag system, especially now that they've added, like, identity tags and stuff, it's certainly helped in a way. I would like to use some of the tags that I generally use to find new streamers to raid, honestly. Anywho. It's a good thing for networking if we're answering basic questions. I think so, yeah. The problem, of course, which a lot of people already saw happening, and I speculated when the hate raids were sort of like the big thing. What's going on with that? Does anyone know what's going on with the hate raids? I have not heard a single thing about hate raids in like at least a month, maybe more. It seems like they just up and disappeared. But my speculation was that as a result of the identity tags going live, the hate raids had a significant spike in their activity, I suppose you would say, as almost a direct result of that. Yeah, I haven't heard about them for a while. I think, you know, whoever it was that was doing it either got caught or they had their fun and they're just like, okay, enough of this shit, gave up. We'll probably get another bit of bullshit eventually. Or maybe like Twitch implemented some behind the scenes protections. And yeah, it was like one dude or like two, three, probably like a small group of people, I reckon, who were running all those bots easily. Yeah, like they were never real people, or like they were real people, but it was a small dedicated group of fuckwits, you know. Commander Root and all that got widespread enough to put a stop to it largely, yeah. Had a spike, but you feel that spike enabled a means to stop them as a result. You know, that could be it, yeah. He'd been doing it in the RuneScape section, really? In the RuneScape section? Why RuneScape, of all things? I think BIPOC streams are still copying them at times. Yeah, that makes sense. It's unfortunately, I'm not at all surprised by the fact that people are being absolute shit cunts to BIPOC streamers. You know. Anyway, stuff like Seribot has been curbing the tide. Yeah, true. I feel like, you know, I've never had to use Seribot personally. But I feel like as a result of so many bots getting caught by those bots, so we have our own bots countering the bots, I never had to do anything because so many of those bot accounts were being reported and shut down that eventually, you know, I don't know, they disappeared. Maybe Twitch started dealing with them better. That's a fine lark, I'd say. They incorporated some protections, but ultimately what they did, I'm going to just say my criticisms right now. The way Twitch implemented it was still putting the onus on the streamer and not on the system. Like, they specifically went out of their way to incorporate, oh, you can make it so your chat requires people to have verified accounts, so they have to have their phone number verified or whatever else. Did I take my proggy woggy uwu? I did not. I don't have my water in here either. Could you bring me my water, darling? Where is my proggy woggy? Hang on. Your girl's on progesterone. Thank you, darling. I gotta take drugs. I gotta take drugs on stream. Counterbots, Twitch defensive. Yeah, I think like the way that Twitch implemented it, this hot take, spicy hot take. I feel like Twitch sort of should have implemented two-factor authentication at the system end, not at the user end. You know, the way that they did it was like, here's a bunch of protections you can turn on that basically enable followers only mode. That's what it amounts to. It's like, oh yeah, you can turn on these different protections for your channel, but it's basically the same as turning on followers only mode. Hello, sweet kitten, how are you? Hello. Hello, sweet kitten, how are you? Twitch does not implement things well. They do not. Thank you kindly for bringing me my VPA shaker. Sponsor me, you fucking assholes. Anyway, here I am using your product on stream. Can you believe it? Also, try progesterone. I'm trying not to show my personal details. Oh, I've got... No, hang on. I didn't need to get my... Oh, Draco redeems hugs. Okay, I don't actually need to get one out of the box. Not sponsored because nobody would sponsor me. Are you kidding me? I say cunt too much. I'm not going to boof my pee on stream. God. Hello. PDAs?
That's enough.
Progesterone is the fucking best. Let's take some of mine. Where's mine? Okay. Tuesday's pill. I got it. L-hug plus ratio. This isn't the bird app. It doesn't count. Ratios don't count on Twitch. There we go. There. That's how you do... That's how you do prog if you can't, you know, show your asshole on camera. I'd need to be on another website to boof my prog on stream. Anyway.
Jesus. I'm getting divorced.
You're going to ask the endo about prog cream, not that you need an excuse to rub your boobs just cause. I mean, why not? Just do it. Take your drugs however you can. You're scared up north in your dad's cabin. What in the world? Why? Notice how Abby hugs over the top and Maddie hugs under the bottom. Ooh. Called out. Yeah, it's so she can feel my ass. That's generally it. You know, when she hugs under the bottom, she's like groping my butt cheeks. Anyway. Imagine if you could medicate by fondling yourself. I mean, you can. You can rub creams into things. I had to rub cream into my legs today because like they're itchy as all fuck. They're covered in little red spots. It's frustrating. I can't shave my legs without developing a skin condition, apparently. It's great. Highly recommend it. I was going to say, is that a, no, it's not. That's nicotine. I got to be careful. I got to be careful saying nicotine's name. Because wasn't she getting censored or something? Weren't her emotes getting censored because the usernames were inappropriate, despite the fact that she's a partnered streamer who literally had like a billboard in Times Square advertising Twitch? And yet her emotes or something got copped at some stage. Because of the emote shortening thing. What's it called? The abbreviation is Nika. And the system picked that up as a naughty word. Pikachu. Nicotine. Anyway. Can't do the tropics anymore because your legs get prickly heat. Oof. Oof. No. Oh, goodness. Twitch moment. Seriously, what is wrong with this platform? I could spend all night just shitting on Twitch, but I did say in my title that I was going to talk about Rittenhouse, Daphne Dorman, and Ridley Scott. Keffels content. Are we allowed to watch Keffels? I don't want to upset Keffels if we're watching their content on my stream. Like I said before, though, like if you want to react to my content, go ahead. More exposure for me, but you know. It also exposes me to a bunch of rude haters. Should we we'll keep the thing up in the background. We'll keep the link up in the background. I want to bring up something though that appeared in my secondary channel comments. Like, I don't know why people would comment on my off channel videos, given they're just literally VODs. Hello, Gwendolyn. How you doing? You wax for a bit would help. Yeah, waxing is very expensive. Because, you know, one set of strips might... well, this is the thing. Like, one set of strips might... if you get, like, say... they've got, like, say, 40 packs of Veet strips, right? So it's like 20 strips stuck together, and you peel them apart, and you put them on the leg, you peel the hair off. And you can use the one strip, like, several times. It's really hard to get all the hairs. And it's painful. But it does last longer than shaving. Like, it lasts a good 2 or 3 weeks before you need to start doing it again. And I haven't dealt with as much irritation. But, of course, the problem is, yeah, it's expensive up front to get the stuff to wax. Or you could go to a beauty place. But it's, you know, it's expensive up front. And it's painful. And it's... does waxing prevent ingrown hair? I don't think so, actually. Yeah. You claim to dislike Twitch, but you stream on it. Libs destroyed. You stream on Twitch, yet what is it? You complain about Twitch, yet you stream on it. Curious. I am very intelligent. Which was a big thing, honestly, during the hate rates discourse. A lot of people were like, oh, if you hate what's going on Twitch, why don't you move to YouTube? And I'm like, we want Twitch to be better, fuckwit. We don't want to go to another platform. It's not that easy. Waxing over time can lead to finer hair so it gets less painful, but you have to keep it up. You can't skip waxing. True. You do have some other news, actually. We will get into real news in a minute. Got a scrub for the ingrown hairs. I might need to start investing in, like, proper exfoliating scrub for my legs. And yeah, changing platform is a big risk. Not everybody's got the capacity of, like, Dr. Disrespect or Tim the Tap Man to, like, just jump ship and retain their audience. Because their audience is watching them they're actually watching that streamer intently. They're following them on all social media. They're going to know if their favorite streamer jumps ship, right? And it's going to be big news. It's going to be on like Dexerto or IGN or whatever. You know, big gaming streamers jumping over from Twitch to YouTube. It's a big deal. It's the news. Smaller streamers like myself, if we move to another platform, the only people who are going to know are the dedicated viewers who are like in my Discord, following on Twitter or wherever else. If I put an announcement on Instagram, that's not going to be everybody. Whereas, you know, here where I am now, I've got the discoverability and the network of fellow streamers who I'm aware of. You know, kind of intrigued by the idea of facial waxing. I've considered it, honestly. Twitch is a great platform. It's where I get my hot tub streamers. I mean, what's the hot tub stream category up to these days? I'm curious, actually. What's the hot tub category doing? Because, oh yeah, Draco, we're going to cover the Alex Jones thing tonight. We're going to, once I stop fucking around. Let's have a look. I want to see hot tubs, pools, hot tubs, and beaches. How many streamers are in this category? It's got 2.9k viewers. Here's what we're looking at the moment. I'm sure we can show this, right? Here's what's in the hot tubs category. So this is what's on Twitch at the moment. That's a massage, ASMR massage girls. I feel like this is actually quite risky because, like, there was a time, was it the, who remembers, the Valve trading card game? What was it called? You know what I mean, yeah. An A in it. What was it called? There was a Artifact, yeah, Artifact. And people were streaming porn into that category. I think people were streaming porn into Artifact for some reason. I think it was. The game eventually flopped and the category might have got shut down on Twitch. I can't remember. Cover Alex Jones with my semen, maybe. Fucking A. Oh, Jesus. So hang on, skill technique. What are we talking about? You know, anatomics. What about anatomics? Oh, I know something about anatomics. Yeah. Is that who I'm thinking of? Who was getting kind of... who was in a bit of a pickle because she was streaming whatever content. Like, is she the one I'm thinking of? Hang on. Anatomics. Yeah. Wasn't she doing kind of like... Was she doing hot tub content, which is totally allowed on the platform, but kept getting copped for it? For whatever reason? Like, what's the... why? Yeah, she was doing hot tub streams. Totally allowed to. Wasn't breaking any rules. According to Twitch's own terms of service, and kept getting banned for it. I don't know if she eventually moved off the platform or not, but anyway. Stumbled on an article from 2000 about Alex Jones when he was a public access TV guy beefing over a time slot with another guy there and reporting the guy to the FBI over some lie, and the FBI took the bait like idiots and went after the dude. Jesus. That sounds like a fucking, what's the phrase I'm looking for? It sounds like the kind of shit that gets you swatted, honestly. Which, you know, that's literally all it takes. You just send in a false police report and all of a sudden you've got cops at someone's door. If you know someone's details, it's fucking terrifying, dude. She's on TikTok and YouTube and whatnot. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Ooh, laser. Laser's fun. I've had laser on most of my face. The only area that needs serious laser now is pretty much just the frontal area here. Honestly, last time I got laser on my face, which was just this past week on Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday. I could not feel like almost any of the laser down here until it got to this little like goatee section. Little like what's that called? What's that type of facial hair called where it's just like the mustache and the little beard bit here but nothing else? Is it a goatee? I guess it's a goatee. I thought a goatee was like just the little chin bit, but anyway. Essentially, like this is the only area where I've got any facial hair. The standard IT beard. Yeah, that's the only area where I've got any real growth left. And there was like, I could barely feel anything along the sideburns, anything under the neck. So laser fucking works if you've got the right hair for it, unfortunately. Alex Jones is fucking actually insane. I know, it reminds me of the Tucker Carlson thing, like where Fox News deliberately said no one takes Tucker Carlson seriously, and then you watch Tucker Carlson, and you're just like, what honestly genuinely terrifies me is that much like Alex Jones, people do take Tucker Carlson seriously. There are a lot of individuals out there who are dumb as bricks. No, that's an insult to bricks. Bricks are actually useful. Yeah. Apparently it's called a full Tucker Schwan. Look up videos of Tucker Carlson from like, what was it, 10, 15 years ago? His hair has not changed. Not a single hair out of place. I swear it's a wig. It has to be a wig. It's a very elegantly placed wig. It's all exactly the same. It's identical. Alex Jones versus Piers Morgan is pure entertainment. You hate both, by the way. That's always fun, though, isn't it? It's like when you hate both sides of something, and you want to see who comes out the ultimate victor, but you can still hate both of them. You're gonna book electrolysis soon. As much as you want to do just the 5-minute session, tempted today to say fuck it and go for a longer session. How much is that going to cost you, though? I'm curious because you know my laser costs me. I think my facial laser is like $72, but I got it half price recently. Would apparently challenge people to physical fights, then be terrified if they were up for it. Just like Trump's hair as a wig, yeah, or at least like hair extensions or something. Not extensions, like implants, hair implants. You work with a bunch of anti-vax Trumpers. It's like stepping into an alternate dimension when you come to work. That's got to be so weird. I remember recently, like, not recently, when I was working for Coles, supermarket chain here in Australia, there was a specific company event, not like a company event, but like some kind of little, in the break room, they had a bunch of snacks and stuff set up for some fucking reason. I don't know what it was. And they had one of the bigwig managers come down from the head office or whatever. And he was all buddy-buddy with the managers of the store. Sorry. You know, the people that wear the white button-down shirts instead of the, you know, store-branded polos that we had to wear because we were the simpletons at the bottom rung of the ladder. And after everything had been said and done, you sent me something terrifying. Okay, I'll look in a sec. After all had been said and done with it, whatever the little thing was, I can't remember. But it involved bringing down one of the managers down to the store level. I feel like at the moment they walked in, they're just like, oh, normal people. Anyway. After all had been said and done, I distinctly remember him talking to the store manager and having like a casual conversation about the recent election that we had had. And he very earnestly mentioned how he'd voted for Pauline Hanson and One Nation. And I was like, if you know anything about Pauline Hanson and One Nation, you're just like, holy crap, this guy just literally voted for fascists. Like, out and out, very proud of the fact that they are fascists. Just He is this very, very white man with very, very white man hair, with his very, very white man glasses, and his not his polo shirt. He wasn't wearing a polo shirt. Wearing his button-down top, and he's just like, oh yeah, I voted for One Nation and Pauline Hanson. I think they know what's best for this country. Never wanted to... Probably can't say it on Twitch, but... in that moment, I was staring through to the wall behind him. And I feel like if I had laser vision, he wouldn't have a head. Anyway, yeah, weird. It's honestly like another... It's just... wild. I can't fathom. It's that thing where you read about One Nation and Pauline Hanson in the papers. Well, not the papers. The internet papers. You read about them and you think, there's no way anyone takes them seriously. No way. No, you're kidding me. Pauline Hanson, who walked in to Parliament wearing a burqa to make some kind of political statement about Muslims, how they could just barge in to Parliament House dressed in their burqa, and the inference, of course, was that, oh, they're Muslims, they must have bombs under their burqas, you never know. Like, that was effectively the message she was trying to send at the height of Islamic trans panic, moral panic. Islamic trans panic. Let's just throw all of it into one. Anyway. Yeah. Pauline Hanson is an interesting person. We knew what you were going to say, yeah. How quickly people change their viewpoint when they have a ventilator 10 inches down their throat. Ooh, 10 inches. I shouldn't make that joke with regards to COVID ventilators, but 10 inches. $88 for 30 minutes. You knew places that would charge $200. Really? $88. Fuck. You didn't know you all had politicians taking pages from American Republicans? Oh, yeah. We've got our fair share of, incredibly far-right... it's the majority of politicians in Australia. But, of course, the way that politics in Australia is framed, you wouldn't think... even our left-leaning party is not really left. It's the same as the Democrats and the Republicans in the United States. You've got the right-wing party, and then you've got the more right-wing party. And then you've got a bunch of smaller parties which are arguably, left of center, the Greens, for example. Unfortunately, how quickly most people's tune will change when there's a paycheck attached to it too. Well, yes, there's that. Paying COVID just to get, getting COVID just to get your throat reamed. Heck yes. Most Parliament houses have metal detectors at the door. That's why people can wear whatever they like inside. Yeah, exactly. It was a dumb thing to do. Look, they could wear whatever they want into Parliament. Yeah, but they're not going to bring bombs and guns in. Well... I don't know. Anyway. You're early for once. Hello, Tombadils. How's it going? And conservatives are everywhere. It's like termites or ticks. Oh, God. It's like what did I have? Fleas. I had fleas in my house last year. I could not get rid of the fuckers. Anyway. I think ultimately, it's not even necessarily that, it may well be with regards to how quickly people's tunes change when there's a paycheck attached to it. Yeah, that might be the thing. But I think... quite frankly, a lot of people become more radicalized. I'm just speculating here. I think there's a few people who become what we would consider to be radicalized into more far-right ideologies through more of a process of, let me think, casual common sense opinion. That's always the thing you see, right? When we're having these conversations around this point of view is actually incredibly harmful and destructive, actually. And then so many people will be like, oh, it's just my opinion, though. I could say I have free speech. But, the reality is, there's a lot of people out there who've probably never deeply thought about heavy political ideas. And until relatively recently, that was the same for me. I didn't give politics much thought. But I always knew, racism bad, homophobia bad, all of that kind of shit. That felt like common sense to me. And it's those little stepping stones that you develop, the little things you pick up on as a kid, generally speaking. You see the way adults talk about certain political things, whether they're your parents or older relatives or just people around you. You subconsciously pick up on these things. And then over time, you develop a sense that that's just the way everyone is. You know, that's why for a long time I thought that my family's more progressive views were the common sense angle for most of Western society, and the more radical views like the racism, homophobia, etc. I thought, and ableism especially. I remember hearing someone very cleanly stating to me, basically eugenics. Let's just put it this way. This person literally said to me, it's like, oh, like all these people who've got Down syndrome and blah, blah, blah. They were just like, why don't we develop some kind of way to detect that in the womb and just abort those babies? And it's like, and they were not saying it from this perspective of, I really hate people with Down syndrome. They thought it was a genuinely good idea. Same with autism, same with anything else that could be considered some form of significant disability. Some form of life-altering disability. This person's never going to have a real life, so why not kill them before they're born, sort of thing. And to their mind, the idea they were putting out there is like, oh, well, clearly, if this person's never going to go on to become a productive member of society, then their life has no worth. And it took me, there was a time where I was just like, kind of, in my head, I was like, that's a little bit weird, but I can kind of see your point. And nowadays I'm like, holy shit, that's fucking horrific Nazi shit. And it's like, terrifying. Because to that person, it was a completely common sense opinion. No one had ever really challenged them on it. Because the only perception they had of folks with Down syndrome or autism or schizophrenia, Tourette's, whatever, was like the most disturbing representations of it that make you think to yourself, that person must have a horrifying life the way they live. You know? And now, I look back on it now and I'm just like, holy shit, dude, you are so detached. So inhumane. You know, grew up in a proud union family. Dems for the first 20 years, their brains were literally rotted by Fox News. That's fucking atrocious. That's how far-right shitlords get people. It's a rabbit hole that starts off with simple, common sense stuff and keeps getting worse and worse. Yes, exactly. So it's the same thing as when you see someone like Ben Shapiro going on about how there's only two genders. There's only two genders. You know, to most people, they're only going to be exposed to two genders. Men and women. You know, generally speaking, that's going to be how things are for them. So the prospect of A, non-binary people, and B, transitioning people are wildly outlandish concepts. And if we throw back to like South Park or Chappelle or any other representation of like Ace Ventura, How I Met Your Mother, I think. There's so many representations of trans people that worm their way into popular culture. Whether consciously or subconsciously, people are going to look at those representations and form their opinions on them if they don't have any other external information better informing their perspective. So yeah, it starts off with what you perceive as common sense, and then it develops from there. Remember someone saying, I developed Tourette's by swearing too much like Eric Cartman. I want to bitch slap Matt and Trey with a chair. Understandable. We were offered to have the disability check on our youngest. It's got a chance of harming the baby itself. We refused it. He has cerebral palsy and hydrocephalus, but lives a relatively normal life. Well, there you go. Yeah, exactly. Oh, anyway, you were watching some Law and Order, and they had quite a few episodes that mentioned he, she's. That one's so fucking second grade insult, honestly. What did we have last night? We had some dingbat in chat asking, what are you going to call an androgynous hermaphrodite? You going to call them sheems? He shims? Shut the fuck up. You ask them, you impolite fuckwit. Like, common decency of asking a person how they identify. And I mean, generally speaking, you shouldn't. But I actually had someone relatively recently, a couple of months ago, I think, because I was, or maybe it was a little bit longer ago, like I was still sort of like middling part of my transition. I was very, very in-betweener. So I was a bit androgynous, and someone asked me personally, what are your pronouns? Which was actually quite refreshing. If you don't know, you can call them their name until they tell you. No exceptions, yeah. South Park is one of the first both sides media that ruined discourse. People thought shitting on everyone made them reasonable, but like most folks who do that, it's always one level to the left and much lighter level to the right. You call most people by their name, or if you meet, oi. Oi works. Oi cunt. Do it the Aussie way. Call them cunt. SO used to have pretty long hair and a bunch of kids in the bus stop. Once asked them if they were a dude or a man wife. What's a man wife? Good gravy. Quickest way for you to start fucking with someone is if they ask an invasive / rude question about their gender. About your gender. Their gender. Whoever's gender. Just ask an invasive question about whoever. Do it. You want to be a man wife? Do it. Fucking why not? Go crazy with that shit. Hell yeah. Man wife. I want to be a man wife. You want a man wife? Be the change you want to see in the world. Go out there, find yourself a man and turn him into a wife. Get yourself a man wife. He has to wear the dress at the wedding. What's in your pants? Underwear. No, in those my legs. Who saw the I had this recently. This tweet recently. Let me see if I can find it. It got a few likes, so I should be able to find it relatively easily, I think. I wonder if I could just go look at my analytics. Will it show me that tweet? That didn't work. Damn it, Twitter, you stupid cunt. Alright, let's have a look. No. Okay, it's not here. Let me go back to my tweets. Let me go back a couple of days, I think it was. Come on. Where is it? I'm trying to think, like, I know exactly what I want to tell you, but I can't think specifically at the moment. So I need to find the tweet that enunciates my point well. God, how many things have I commented on in the last couple of days? Jesus, fuck me Christ. Twerts. Where is it? Where is it? Not toxic masculinity. It was a response to someone, I think. Oh fuck! I've lost my train of thought now. I don't know what it is. There was a point. Well, here's a thing that Jasmine posted. Internet dudes, edgy comedian is fine because they make fun of everyone equally. Edgy comedian, isn't it funny how boring white people are? Also, I think trans people are disgusting and should have their human rights curbed. That's my show, everyone. Good night. That wasn't it, though. There was a good one. There was a good one. Where is it? It's perfectly related to what we were talking about. Oh, fuck. I don't know. Who cares? Forget it. Anyway. Hello, Kitty, Chloe, and Mindless Mark. How yous going? What's new? You don't have to wear a dress, but you do the majority of the house chores while she's out working. She's in nursing. Much better pay than anything you could get. Well, that's good. That's good. You got to take care of the house. A lot of suburban kids we encounter are so goddamn sheltered they genuinely spiral into gender confusion as soon as a dude has more hair than the receding 3 centimeters their dads have. Oh, fuck. I do post a lot. I really should stop, honestly. Hello, Echo. I'm just honestly addicted to the Bird app. I need to, like, distance myself. Watching Abby at work is dangerous. You should have headphones in if you're watching me, quite frankly. Oh, anyway. You always watch, but you don't chat. Well, welcome to chat. Welcome to being involved in the conversation. You love my posts. I should post less frequently, but post more things that get real attention. I should just try to post like 1 or 2 bangers a day and then just leave it. I genuinely can't think of what I was thinking of, though. There was a particular tweet that I responded to that was relevant to what we're talking about. It wasn't Jasmine's tweet, it was something else. Anyway, we love our lurkers. Can we get like one of these? Hang on. There we go. Would love a sugar mommy. I could spend much more time playing Bloodborne that way. That's a good reason to get a sugar mama, honestly. Like, if I could spend all day playing Bloodborne for the GF. Sugar tranny. Are we allowed to refer to ourselves as sugar trannies? I'm saying it now. You don't understand the hate trans people and gay people receive at the end of the day. We're all humans. Everyone deserves to be treated with respect. I'm killing this game and I seem like a lovely person. Thank you, Mark. Well, I mean, the main reason, honestly, is just a sense of... how do we frame this? How do we frame, like, trans and gay people being... like, queer people in general being stepped down upon? Let's put it in this perspective. Let's use the Chappelle special that was recently released and the umbrage that trans people, I went to say Twitch people, trans people had with the special. And we're going to talk about Daphne Dorman, who was mentioned in Chappelle's special. Actually, in 2 of his specials, if I recall correctly. There were a lot of trans people and trans allies, queer folks in general, going like, you know, what Dave Chappelle said was actually actively harmful to the trans community. He was peddling a whole bunch of transphobic garbage under the guise of comedy. And the issue was that there were so many fans of Chappelle, like absolute stans, going off their head at any trans person who dared to criticize Chappelle. Right? Who dared to say, listen, the things he said were fucking dog shit. And he shouldn't have said those. And he's platformed a transphobic opinion. The general reason that there are still so many homophobic, transphobic people and all that is the same sort of reasoning behind the Chappelle special. There's more of us than there are of you. So these particular people, particularly with regards to the Chappelle thing, the opinion was basically, let's just leave it to democracy. There are more of us fans of Chappelle who thought the special was fucking hilarious than you bloody transvestites. That was it. That's the reasoning. Is there's just, we're a bigger number, we're right, you're wrong. And that was it. So you can't really, like, what are you supposed to do with response to that? What stance are you supposed to take? Same argument Tucker uses, appeal to the majority, pretty much. And sometimes the majority doesn't even exist. Like in certain circumstances where like the idea of the silent majority is used. There are so many people that agree with me, they're just not speaking up. You know? Most straight people would happily sing Bohemian Rhapsody, a song literally about Freddie coming out. Yeah, exactly. Which is an argument you can use against any minority, but who cares? People got to get their hate on. You don't trust anyone who thinks he's funny after his comeback. His material got so much worse. I haven't seen it. I've heard clips of it enough to have the same opinion that like the material he used in the special. What I've heard of it, like actually heard the audio of, I'm like, yeah. Where's the where's the punchline? Where's the funny? Like I watched some Dave Chappelle when I was younger, and I watched Sticks and Stones, and I actually remember liking it. And he had actually genuinely funny material. And then what I've heard of The Closer is that it wasn't actually funny. Close your door. Not feeling... Oh, okay. Radio Ziwa. Hey. Dave Chappelle's trans jokes lack the same sensitivity and wit that his race jokes have. That's because he has, to some degree, the lived experience of being a person of color, right? So he can inform those jokes from the perspective of, I am intimately familiar with this community and its problems, and I can make jokes about that. Like, watch ContraPoints' video, The Darkness, right? Where she tackles the subject of Ricky Gervais doing the whole, my name is... Oh, Mindless Mark, thank you for the 100 bits, you fucking legend, you. ContraPoints gets into this whole spiel about Ricky Gervais going on about, I'm Bobo and I identify as a chimp. Just like that mindless drivel, right? Which has nothing to do with anything. Like I've mentioned before, the only way those kind of like, I identify as this jokes work is if you explain them first. You need to rely on your audience having learned what's coming for that joke and basically fabricating a reality where that's funny, right? It's in its own way, the one joke, haha, I'm an attack helicopter, is an absurdist joke because it's not based in any reality. No one actually talks like that. No one's actually going around saying, I identify as a woman, actually. And they have a thick, full beard and a beer gut and a polo top stained with beer. Like, that's not what's actually happening. It relies upon you having a perspective informed by falsehoods. There we go. Sorry, I get really deeply entrenched in this shit. You're welcome, darling. I love you. The only funny Holocaust joke you've ever heard came from a Jewish comedian. He's trying to be the next Carlin. Carlin got pretty preachy later in his career. Difference is he was still funny, and the stuff he said was actually based in truth. There's a good video. Let me find it. Let's watch this. George Carlin speaks on punching down. You might have seen this one. Yeah, here we go. Let's watch this really quickly, because this is a very good point that Carlin made, right? In an interview with Larry King. Ow, I just hit my elbow on the microphone stand. We'll talk about the Rittenhouse trial shortly, I swear. I promise. Don't need to apologize for standing up for what you believe in. Oh, I would never apologize for standing up for my views, because here's the thing. I actually stand up for things. I will go to protests related to things that I earnestly believe in. Political viewpoints and things of that nature. Here's this, right? Let's have a look at this. Can I?
I would defend to the death his right to do everything he does. The thing that I'm...
Oh, and he's specifically referring to a certain comedian in this segment. I cannot remember who, but still, the point exists beyond whoever it is he's referring to.
That I find unusual, and it's not a criticism so much, but his targets are underdogs. And comedy traditionally has picked on people in power, people who abuse their power. Women and gays and immigrants,
Andrew Dice Clay,
kind of, to my way of thinking, underdogs. And, he ought to be careful because he's Jewish. And a lot of the people who want to pick on these kind of groups, the Jews are on that list a little further. You got women, gays, gypsies, blah, 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 blah. And then suddenly you find Jews. And Andrew,
suddenly Andrew's arrested.
Yeah, so, obviously he should do what he wants. And
why does he get away with it, do you think, then?
Well,
we have never laughed at jokes about the poor.
He's appealing. I think he's appealing largely. I think his core audience are young white males who are threatened by these groups. I think a lot of these guys aren't sure of their manhood, because that's a problem when you're going in through adolescence. Am I really? Could I be? I hope I'm not one of them. And the women who assert themselves and are competent are a threat to these men, and so are immigrants in terms of jobs and the
so that's why we as an audience then will laugh.
You say we. I don't think you're.
No.
But I think you're
collective we.
I think that's what is at the core of that experience that takes place in these arenas. Is a certain a sharing of anger and rage at these targets. And I'm sure Andrew isn't that angry at them. I'm sure he's playing it as a comic.
Yeah, that kind of feels relevant to everything with regards to the Chappelle thing, I think. I don't know. You might have a different opinion. He was mega popular at the time and he was bad. Funnily, I've heard of Carlin. I've literally never heard of Andrew Dice Clay, which is super weird to me. Feels relevant to John Cleese. Yes, it does. Carlin shat all over right-wing nutjobs all the time, but they went ahead and claimed him as soon as he was dead and couldn't tell him to fuck off. Reminds me of the TERFs with Terry Pratchett recently, and Terry Pratchett's writing has got some very trans-affirming stuff in the works themselves. I need to actually start reading some Terry Pratchett. But anyway, I'll take these out because, I don't need my earbuds in. There's one minor public figure in the UK who is a trans woman who wears her beard, and the TERFs attack her so much for it, which I'm not at all surprised by. Listen to Andrew Dice Clay once, he's pretty meh. Well, it seems like it. Women who assert themselves are a threat to men. Holy shit, yes. Nothing makes men in the workplace hate me more than when I take the lead and show that I'm equipped to lead. Excuse you, mate. The Watch series is good. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, comedy's a weird one because the unfortunate reality of the situation with regards to comedy specifically is that so many people will look at comedy as though it is just jokes.
Thank you for continuing your
Hey,
membership.
Yarrow, thank you so kindly for the 10 months,
Keyboard
you legend.
key 10. Keyboard key 10.
Keyboard key
key
10.
10.
Keyboard key 10.
Keyboard key 10. Keyboard key 10. Keyboard key 10. Keyboard key 10.
How many? Is that 10 tens? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No. It's only 8 tens. You need 10 tens. Thank you so kindly, Yarrow, for the 10 months. You entire legend, you. Do I know about Dick Cooglin? I don't, actually. It's not a familiar name to me. But yeah, like the thing that most comedy, right, you can laugh at the absurdity of it. You can laugh at the unrealistic nonsense that goes on. You can laugh at various situations where it's like, oh, haha, that would never happen in real life. That's why it's funny. And unfortunately, so many people extrapolate that to stand-up, and especially stand-up like Chappelle's, where it's based purely on observations of reality. And those observations are informed by the person's perception of that reality. So those perceptions can be radically different between different people. And unfortunately, there are some people who will develop a really strong opinion about something without actually informing their perspective, which is me in a lot of cases. However, generally speaking, a lot of people are going to look at stand-up specials like Chappelle's and think, oh, it's just jokes. Just get over it. Just take a joke. Haha, it's funny. But it's not really funny when that comedy is still rooted in the social observation model of comedy. You can do absurdist, ridiculous comedy that makes a lot of, nonsense come to light and actually doesn't really have any roots in reality. But, the moment you start doing the thing where it's like, I'm observing what's going on, here's my haha funny thoughts. This is kind of silly, isn't it really? But, you're saying this is kind of silly, isn't it really, about an entire minority queer group? He's sort of known he's sort of a Z-list stand-up comedian who turned out to be a monster. Oh, okay. Sort of known among older YouTube atheist circles as someone who fought back against skeptics and went out of his way to defend Muslims, I see. Skits satirize while stand-up is a critique of reality itself. True. Please Google Japanese 10-10-10. Oh, okay. I might have to. What would his daughter and best friend know about Terry Pratchett? Yeah, pretty much. The best comedians draw from gallows humor, and punching down on those who are also in the stocks in the gallows seems pretty uncomedic. Yeah, exactly. Excuse me. If I take the lead on something I'm not qualified to lead on, give me shit all you want, but when I'm the right one for the job and I'm confident in my skills, they seethe. Yes, exactly. It's so weird to see like men actually threatened by a woman who knows what she's talking about, who knows what she's doing with regards to a job. It's like, come on, dude. Are you really that threatened by the fact that a woman knows something? And I mean, they are. Am I going to end up copping a ban like Bad Bunny did for grouping men? Because we had an MRA in last night. That was fun. We were talking about how society is inherently patriarchal and distinctly benefits men and even just male-presenting people. Like, very specific men, obviously. But still, society is definitely patriarchal. And the moment I brought that topic to the forefront, all of a sudden, MRA, someone who had been watching the stream for a while, who decided to chime in with all of these classic MRA talking points, which are not really relevant to the discussion of why society is patriarchal. But anyway, that's beside the point. Found you couldn't read Terry Pratchett digitally because there were so many footnotes and it didn't work so well on your phone. Oh, that's not good. Excuse me. Terry Pratchett's Monstrous Regiment. That's the one I've heard of. A satire on the absurdity of modern gender norms and warmongering.
The Rogue Room appreciates your
Ruby,
recommendation.
thank you for the host. I have not seen Auntie Donna's comedy, so I don't have any thoughts. But yeah, I've heard of Monstrous Regiment. I might need to give that one a read. Saw Carlin once. It was awesome. His opening line was, "Fuck Lance Armstrong for no reason." This was before he was revealed to be cheating in the Tour de France. Chelsea Peretti, Kate Berland, Chris Fleming, Pete Holmes, Alison Wetterland, and Norm MacDonald. I've only heard of two of those, honestly. Hate being in charge. Whether the one in charge is a man or woman makes no difference to me. Let's see. Don't ban Abby. She'll become bigger than ever. That, I mean, not gonna lie. I kicked up a big stink when I got banned the first time for the username Rogue Bitch. And I did get a lot of attention for it. Not a huge amount, but I actually got some attention for it, which was kind of amusing, actually. I'm just going to go and scream and shit my pants over the fact that Twitch banned me for the name Rogue Bitch. BXTCH, by the way. There was someone else on this platform that had BXTCH in their username. But it led to the formation of the Rogue Room with Abigail Beck. So, you know. The Rogue Room. And my Discord is technically the Rogues Gallery. It should be anyway, but I need to update the branding. Oh, yeah, right. Oh, okay. Hang on. Ziwa sent me something. And I should have watched it while she was... I don't know if she's still watching. Pardon? I can't remember. I can't hear you. How long was the ban for? It was a week, but it was originally indefinite. Hi Ziwa. You sent me something terrifying, you said, or horrifying. I want to see this. It looks like Ben Shabibo. Yeah, the ban was for 7 days eventually. But initially it was like, you've been indefinitely suspended for an inappropriate username. And I'm like, what? Fuck off. And for a while I was Rogue BX as a result. For 2 months. I had to be Rogue BX for 2 months. Which I hated. Anyway. Oh, yeah. Good lord. I don't know if is that DMCA music. I didn't even think. Fuck. I've seen that before, and it's genuinely unsettling. Fucking hell. That is really genuinely creepy. Like, it's oh goodness. I'll find out later, I guess. Anyway, utter horror show. You've tried reading Terry Pratchett, read 1/3 of 2 different books, didn't even recognize when jokes were being told. You felt so stupid. Problem. El Problemo. I feel like Ben Shapiro was one of those people who would go and find trans people online back in his college days. And he would post really cringy transphobic takes and then post the troll face. They fixed DMCA on Twitch now. It's not really a threat anymore, did they? Hello. Oh, yeah, hang on. Ben Shapiro smiles like a living NFT. Where do you want me to put it?
You are too kind.
Oh, someone's too kind. I can't clap it back shut again. Yarrow, thank you for gifting a tier 1 to Erebus. You've gifted 268 subs. That's ridiculous. Goodness gracious. The problem with Pratchett is that you need both a general broad education, media and otherwise, and awareness of high fantasy tropes and genre convention. It can get dense sometimes, which honestly sounds quite good. I would like to read that. I know Pratchett penned a lot of books. DMCA isn't an issue. I'm still gonna be very, very cautious. With regard to any DMCA stuff. So I should have checked that before I ran it, but you know. You love Monty Python and Faulty Towers is really funny from what you've seen. Yeah, I liked Faulty Towers, honestly. But there more than likely are problems with it. I think a bit of the racism. You gotta go to bed. It's 5 a.m. You'll say before you go. The Rittenhouse trial has been a shit show and a half. We're gonna catch up on it. We have got a couple of things. You can't run any clip that's 8 seconds or less. You can run any clip that's 8 seconds or less. Okay. DMC is mostly when you play the recorded version. There are faults with Faulty Towers. Live music should never be an issue. Oh, okay. High Omens is right up my wheelhouse. Ooh, I'm intrigued. I am intrigued though.
Basic.
Yarrow, thank you for the 100 bits. Oh my goodness. You've given 268 subs and you've cheered 79,400 bits. Good gravy. Thank you so kindly. Can't think of any iconic British comedian who hasn't disappointed me by this point, aside from maybe Eddie Izzard. Eddie Izzard. Hang on. Pardon? I do know Eddie Izzard, but I'm just going to say Eddie Izzard did say that J.K. Rowling isn't transphobic. So, you know, I'm just putting that out there into the world. I don't know. Eddie is great. Isn't asterisk. She tried. Everyone told you to watch Letterkenny. You were sorely disappointed at how so much of the humor was just homophobia. That's awful. Excuse me. You hate Monty Python. You find it to be super abrasive. It certainly can be. Don't get me wrong. Hello, DJ Whisper. Hello, Maya. How are you two going? How are you folks doing? Okay. There's a couple of things I want to do. That's a Canadian show. I think it is. There's one thing I want to get into really quickly. There's this thing that I saw, which we talked about Chappelle already a little bit. I kind of want to get this out of the way because this is one of those bits of the story that's like, honestly, interesting to me because so many people had so many opinions about the fact that Chappelle had the trans friend. You know, much like there's that person who's got the black friend kind of thing. So Chappelle in his latest special definitely went out of his way to do that whole, I've actually got a trans friend really, and she killed herself. So this person, Springs in My Step on Twitter, has been sort of following that entire saga of events and has put together, fortunately, a speedrun edition of everything they found. So there's a full-blown thread that goes for a very long time about this whole thing. We won't do the whole thing, but I just want to get this out of the way really quickly because this is interesting, to say the least. So anyway, unshockingly, Dave Chappelle lied in the closer about Daphne Dorman being Twitter bullied. Speedrun edition. Yeah, I can share this thread link in chat, and I think I've bookmarked the other version as well, which is a lot longer. It might even be dropped in the thread later on. So, trigger warning, suicide for anyone who is triggered by those kinds of things. Contemporary screenshots posted in tweets from separate users 2 days after Daphne's death show there were only 9 replies to her punching down tweet when she died. Okay, so rest in peace, Daphne Dorman. The trans woman mentioned in Dave Chappelle's special has reportedly taken her own life. Truly devastating. # suicide awareness. And Daphne herself said, punching down requires you to consider yourself superior to another group. Dave Chappelle doesn't consider himself better than me in any way. He isn't punching up or punching down. He's punching lines. That's his job and he's a master of his craft. # sticks and stones. # I'm that Daphne. Come visit us in Yellow Springs, Ohio. Thanks, I'm from Pennsylvania originally, so that's like not really... So that's October 13th. And then also October 13th. Contemporary screenshots 2 days after her death. Daphne and Dave were friends, and here's the same tweet again. Nine comments. So the for those of you who are not aware, Chappelle and numerous people who follow Chappelle, who watch the special, who agree with everything he said, sort of sold this idea that the trans community bullied Daphne Dorman into suicide, which is kind of a very, very bold claim to be making. Let's be real here. Thanks to the Internet Archive, we can jump back in time to 3 weeks before Daphne's death, and she had 9 replies then too. So, okay, it's the purest piece of art that's been released in our generation. There's the same September 19th, 9 replies. Jump back in time to another 4 weeks, jumping back in time another week to 4 weeks before Daphne died. Still only 9 replies. Are you the Daphne? The great offense is all these people who believe you or your community to be so fragile that they must come to your rescue from jokes. Still 9 replies. His joke he wrote about you was riveting. I look forward to watching your special when it manifests itself. Still 9 replies. Then just to really bring the point home, let's hop back to this contemporary screenshot posted roughly 6 weeks before Daphne's death. I can't read. And roughly 2 days after she posted the punching down tweet with a 1-day Twitter timestamp on the screenshot, no less, only 4 replies. I'll move this over to the middle. This is how someone handles a joke. You, sir, clearly lack a sense of humor if you get upset over a joke from a comedian. What I'm saying is Daphne Dorman has more balls than you, obviously responding to somebody else. The trans community didn't bully Daphne Dorman for defending Dave Chappelle on Twitter. That part of Dave's story was unkind slander against a marginalized community. Netflix gave it a huge platform without fact-checking. This Trans Awareness Week stopped spreading the lie. So yeah, it's actually... Was it still Trans Awareness Week? I don't know when Trans Awareness Week is. Is it this week? I don't know. I'm not good at keeping up with these things. So, this is from... Was this from Dave Chappelle? Yeah, I think this is from Dave Chappelle. When Sticks and Stones came out, a lot of people in the trans community were furious with me, and apparently they dragged me on Twitter. Yeah, this is from Chappelle himself. I don't give a fuck because Twitter is not a real place, which is kind of an ignorant statement to make. Yes, it's not a real place, but these are real people on the internet. Anyway. And the hardest thing for a person to do is go against their tribe if they disagree with their tribe, but Daphne did that for me. She wrote a tweet that was very beautiful, and what she said... Here's the thing. If Twitter's not a real place, and then you're going to go and said... Go ahead and say she wrote a tweet that was very beautiful, why does it suddenly have meaning? Why does the tweet suddenly have meaning if it's very beautiful and complimentary to you? Anyway, beside the point. And what she said was, and it is almost exactly what she said. She said punching down on someone requires you to think less of them, and I know him, and he doesn't. He doesn't punch up, he doesn't punch down, he punches lines, and he's a master of his craft. That's what she said. Beautiful tweet, beautiful friend. It took a lot of heart to defend me like that. And when she did that, the trans community dragged that bitch all over Twitter. For days, they was going in on her. Okay. It's always Trans Awareness Week, but the problem is I want society to stop being fucking aware of me and leave me alone. Agreed. Guess you are now aware. You're exiting this chat then. There we go. Trans Awareness Week awareness. So yeah, there we go. Hello, Hilda. How have you been? So anyway, continuing on. And if you're about to tweet something at me like, but what about, but Daphne's family said, you're just trying to cancel, etc., go read my early thread because I probably already addressed whatever you want to yell at me about. So this is the long thread, if I recall correctly. Is this the long thread? If you want, I think this is the entire thing. I'm not going to, like, I mean, we could go through the whole thing, but it's a novel. Okay, fair disclosure, fair warning, there's a lot. There is a lot. But anyway, that about sums it. Oh, I mean, we could skim through it and find the more pertinent points, actually. I thought it continued on from there. Anyway, so there's the link to that if you want to read it. Let's continue on this. So Dave Chappelle and I live in the same village. It's going to be a ridiculously long thread. It really is. I've read a fair chunk of it. When I was younger, I saw a handful of movies Dave appeared in. It's going to be like reading a cooking recipe. It's going to be a whole ton of like personal anecdotes thrown in there just to pad out the word count. Anyway, in 2021, trans awareness year. Make sure your transgenders have enough hugs and love. Anyway, for lack of exposure, I didn't really have strong feelings about Dave's comedy one way or another, but I was always kind of aware of his new projects because the whole village was. We're tiny and people love him here. Seal Joxo giving us some hugs. I'll have to go get hugs. Hang on a second. Don't go away, folks. We'll continue with this. Don't go away. Sorry, not allowed to show that hug on screen. You love my dress? I could show the dress off. Let's just like interrupt the Chappelle thing for a second. Oh, there we go. So like, skirt go spinning and all that sort of stuff. Exclamation mark hug chat. It's a good dress. I love this dress. It's fantastic. Anyway, Maddie has to be ready at all times for hugs. She does. It's a cute dress. I love it. Okay. So. Well, yeah, dress go spinny's more appropriate. Getting witchy vibes. Are you sure that's not the raven skull necklace I'm wearing? Which is pretty neat. Anywho. Okay, so when I started... So hang on, let's go... When I started hearing about some of the types of jokes and topics that were coming up in his newer specials, I again thought they wouldn't be a good fit for me, So I did what many have been shouting about in the wake of the Closer's release. If you won't like it, don't watch it. Also, since the Closer came out, I've seen... And I want to raise issue with this particular thing that Chappelle mentioned in Sticks and Stones. Right? He did this whole thing of like, you clicked on my face. You know, if you're offended by my jokes, you clicked on my face. But the problem there, especially in the wake of the Closer... is that so many trans people were just attacked by stans of Dave Chappelle without ever having involved themselves in either watching the Closer or investing any time in the special itself, even talking about it. I've heard so many people, so many trans folks have mentioned, and the only reason they know that these are Chappelle jokes is because the discourse surrounding it was so prominent. It was literally everywhere. So trans people were getting abused by Chappelle's jokes by virtue of his fans going out and attacking trans people with those jokes. And then giving them the attitude of like, oh, you know, it's just a joke. Why don't you learn to take a joke? And that whole thing of like, if you don't like it, don't watch it kind of thing doesn't really apply when that kind of thing bleeds out into general social discussion. You know, you're saying David has influence over his fans? Crazy thought, I know. Why you have opinion, do not watch it, pretty much. It's like saying you can't have an opinion of the Holocaust if you haven't watched the killings themselves. Anyway, that's extreme, I know. Also, since the closer came out, I've seen the full range of guesses on how living here has affected Dave. That's not really all that relevant. Yellow Springs is so liberal, there's no way Dave could live there if he was actually transphobic. Kind of a... Yellow Springs is a blue dot in a sea of red. This is all like political related stuff, so that's not really all that relevant. Anyway, flex. Here's a flex for you, us. Bang. Anyway, sorry. There's a lot in here that gives a ton of context. If you want to read the whole thread, by all means, go ahead and do it, but I'm not going to do that now. So let's have a look here. What's this? Let's back to Dave Chappelle. As you probably noticed on Twitter, there are mixed feelings about Dave. Here in Yellow Springs, he's frequently described as beloved. In mid-June, downtown shops shared Facebook photos of the "Thanks Dave" respect signs displayed in their windows. Right? Did the shop owners stop for a moment to consider how these signs could be interpreted as mixed message to some of the visitors they were hoping to attract during Yellow Springs Pride? About 10 days later, did it even cross their minds? I have no idea. Anyway, continuing on. In Dave's reported reaction to the infamous Access Hollywood tape in 2016, he said, and when you're a star, they let you do it. That phrase implies consent. What's this part? So no, there's certain very specific points I want to bring up, but this is a very, very long thread. Okay, so here we go. In the final 15 minutes of his most recent Netflix special. So from here on out, I'm only going to talk about one part of the closer, the ending. So trigger warning, suicide, depression, PTSD, homophobia, transphobia. Some jokes are socially acceptable bullying. They empower the biggest hate. Pretty much yes. So yeah, in the final 15 minutes of his most recent Netflix special, Dave Chappelle talks about Daphne Dorman. If you followed Dave's work, you may remember Daphne as the trans woman mentioned in the epilogue of his previous special. Here's how Dave tells the story, right? Before I go, I want to share this story with you because it is important to this point. I want your community to know that one of the coolest people I ever met was a transgender woman, and this was not a man that I knew that became a woman. This woman was trans when I met her. See, that kind of makes no sense. This woman was trans when I met her. But I suppose to the common idiot, that's going to make sense. Lived in San Francisco. Daphne Dorman is the name. I would do 18 shows in the Bay Area, sometimes in Oakland and Dirty Hood nightclub, and she would be there. White trans woman laughing loud and hard at everything I said, especially the trans jokes. Very puzzling because she was obviously trans. She was obviously trans. Jesus. Excuse me. And one night after one of the shows I met her, and what it was, turns out it was her dream to be a comedian, and I was her hero. It was very moving. I could not dislike somebody that felt that way about me. We became fast friends. And when I made that special Sticks and Stones right as it was coming out, I happened to be in San Francisco and wanted to do a show. But I needed an opening act, and I remembered that trans woman I had met, so I called her on the phone. And I called her myself. I said, "Hey, Daphne, this is Dave Chappelle." She couldn't believe it. And I go, "I'm in San Francisco." And then she started saying a bunch of wild stuff. I was like, "Relax now. I don't want any pussy." I'm just calling because I'm doing a show and I need an opening act. And I was wondering if you'd open the show, and she was like, "Fuck yeah." Now, I didn't know at this time, but this woman had only done stand-up comedy 8 times in her life. This was little to no experience, and now she's about to open a show for what many call the GOAT. Dave goes on to tell the story of Daphne opening for him. Though her act doesn't go well that night, he offers to give Daphne some pointers and let her open for him again anytime he's in town. When Sticks and Stones came out, a lot of people in the trans community were furious with me, and apparently they dragged me on Twitter. I don't give a fuck, because Twitter is not a real place. Here's that quote again. And the hardest thing for a person to do is go against their tribe. We've already read this bit. And then, beautiful tweet, beautiful friend, took a lot of heart to defend me like that. And when she did, the trans community dragged that bitch all over Twitter. So we're back to this. For days, they were going in on her, and she was holding her own because she's funny. But 6 days after that wonderful night I described to you, my friend Daphne killed herself. Oh yeah, this is a true story. My heart was broken. Yeah, it wasn't the jokes. I don't know if it was dragging them, or I don't know what was going on in her life, but I bet dragging her didn't help. I was very angry at them. He was very angry at the transgenders. Formed an opinion of an entire minority community. Anyway, sorry to rush through that. That bitch just has that kind of attitude. Anyway. I met her and boom, she was trans. She was so ashamed to be the same gender as mine, she changed her identity on the spot to fix that. And yeah, that basically is a Trump quote. You're not wrong. So despite being contained within a comedy special, that part wasn't a joke, right? It was the beautiful true story that made people cry. When you listened to / read that story, what did you think had happened? Did you come away thinking Daphne posted a tweet defending her friend Dave on Twitter, was bullied relentlessly by LGBTQ plus people in response, then took her own life 6 days later? If so, you wouldn't be alone. And then there's a whole bunch of things going, like there's a ton of tweets about this specific thing. Like there's so many people just relaying what Dave Chappelle said. There's so many screenshots of this. But that's not what happened. And not only because Dave misstated the number of days between Daphne opening for him and her death. It was closer to 2 weeks. Let's begin by putting together a timeline of events so we're all on the same page. She was so obviously trans, that man in makeup and a dress, with his her big broad shoulders and jawline to rival the representation of Chad in that one meme. Anyway, that's the way they're referring to it. To get it out of the way, even though they knew each other less than 5 months, I'm not going to argue whether Dave and Daphne were really friends. The posts Daphne left behind make it pretty clear she liked Dave, and if Dave says he considered Daphne a friend, I'll take his word for it. May 21, 2019, Daphne's friend offers her tickets to back-to-back Chappelle performances. After the performance, Dave and Daphne meet for the first time. Dave buys her a drink. Thank you so much for the 2 great shows last night and the red wine, the tea in the audience at Punchline. So, I mean, I'm not trying to say I'm a big deal or anything, but yeah, last night's late show, Dave Chappelle did, in fact, buy me a glass of wine, so, you know, I'm not saying it because you're already thinking it. June 8th, 2019, Daphne goes to another show and talks to Dave during the last half of his set. By request, Daphne gives her phone number to Dave's crew. Daphne lived in California and I'm in Ohio, so she actually posted this June 9th her time, making it last night, the 8th. So it's hard to see this. So sometimes when there's potential for something awesome to happen, I waffle back and forth between thinking that mentioning it might jinx it or whether it might manifest it. I'm leaning toward manifestation right now, so I'm going to share my experience seeing Dave Chappelle last night. Yes, again, don't judge me. Mr. Chappelle and I once shared an extended spirited interaction during the last half of his set. I mentioned I was a comic and that he could totally open for me if he wanted. He replied that we should totally do the Dave and Daphne show and that we'd make a ton of money. And now for the awesome part, he told me to go give my number to his crew, and I did. So now Dave Chappelle has access to my phone number and he can totally open for me anytime he wants. Remember that time we saw Chappelle and it was the Dave and Daphne show? August 26, 2019, Sticks and Stones is released on Netflix. In the epilogue, Dave talks about meeting Daphne. Daphne's photo appears in the credits. She'd done a photo shoot for this earlier in the summer, so being mentioned in the special wasn't exactly a surprise. So there's some more there. There's, yeah, just all this sort of stuff. And then a rest in peace post. August 28, 2019. Sorry if this is boring you, by the way. I just find this interesting. Posts her punching down tweet. By all means, feel free to tell me to stop and move on to Rittenhouse or something. Posts her punching down tweet with that California. I don't really care about the time difference. You get the gist. So there's the punching down tweet again. August 29 through question mark days later. The period Dave claims the trans community dragged Daphne all over Twitter. I don't know what the deal is with this particular tweet. Image not found. Is it just literally image not found? Is that literally it? Or, like, was the image just not there, or did something happen? Is there supposed to be I think there's meant to be a screenshot. Is this a thing? Is this a thing that Twitter does? Can someone confirm? I don't know. September 26, 2019, Daphne is the opener for Dave's comedy show in San Francisco. This will be the first and only time she opened for him. So guess who's opening for Dave Chappelle at 10:30 at the Punchline? There's the Punchline thing. October 11, 2019, Daphne's death. To our TGNC community, we love you. We are saddened to learn about the loss of Daphne Dorman today, who was a beloved community member. If you need support, please reach out to Trans Lifeline and Trans Thrive. So the time between Daphne's punching down tweet and her death was more like 42 days. Would your emotional reaction have been different to a month and a half later, my friend killed herself? The way Dave chose to stack story detail seems to have gotten people mixed up. You assume Springs in My Step is saying they can't find anyone dragging Daphne for that tweet. Yes, exactly, that's it. But who cares about the dates if the point is Daphne was dragged relentlessly on Twitter by her own community before she died? So yeah, we're going to get into that. About that, there's so many screenshots. Good lord. Collecting these types of tweets is kind of like volunteering to dive into a bottomless well of sadness. At some point, I just had to decide to stop gathering examples, even if there were still many out there. Seriously, I was developing a repetitive stress injury from all the copying and pasting. I'm not going to go through all those because I'm assuming you can figure what's going on here. Anyway, You may have seen a screenshot of Daphne's tweet going around with a ton of replies. What a pile-on, right? Yikes. Okay, so there's the punching down tweet, and I'll cover my camera for a second. 337 comments, right? 3.7k retweets, which could include quote tweets. But that tweet's still live on Twitter, which it is. You can click on it here. I don't know why it comes up as tweet not available, but you can literally go see it now. Almost all of the responses are from after the closer came out on October 5th, 2021. Lots of RIPs and look, I found the tweet Dave mentioned. If you scroll long enough to see the handful of reactions from before her October 11th, 2019 death, they're pretty neutral or positive. Pro Daphne, pro Dave. Further, if we pull up the Internet Archive record of how Daphne's Twitter page looked on October 14th, 2019, 3 days after her death, we see this. There were 12 replies to the tweet, and that was actually Daphne's most replied to tweet of 2019. Alright, so there's that. From August 28th. No, not August 28th, October 14th. I guess the screenshot says August 28th. But, yeah, here we go. October 14, 2019. But what if the bullies deleted all their mean replies after Daphne died to cover their tracks? I've definitely seen it suggested, but there are a couple of problems with that. So a lot of people often delete nasty tweets. Yeah, because they probably came back and deleted them once they found out she offed herself. I'm inclined to believe a lot of people deleted their comments on this. Yada, yada, yada. Same waffly bullshit. And then there's some where like their accounts were literally created very recently. Which doesn't really say much. Doesn't really mean much. Was there really a mass coordinated deletion of mean replies in 3 days' time? Who coordinated that? Did no one say, screw it, I'm just a troll and I'm leaving my tweets up? Were none of the implied many bullies away from Twitter and unable to delete their posts exactly then? Did no one, not holding her own Daphne, not the handful of folks who swear they totally for real saw this all happening, reply to any of the nasty comments? If they had, we should still see those replies. Deleting a mean reply tweet doesn't delete the additional replies. Or better yet, did everyone who did clap back at a mean reply also go back within that 3-day window and delete their defense of Daphne? Right, sure, this gets more plausible by the minute and definitely isn't fully teetering on the edge of conspiracy theory. Okay, so maybe Daphne wasn't dragged all over Twitter in those replies, but in other public tweets instead. I had a deep good faith look and no, actually. Seriously, considering I've seen people brutally dragged for having the wrong opinion of a cartoon character, I wouldn't have been surprised to find a bunch of random nastiness. Searching Daphne's tweets and replies and the broader Twitter landscape, I found something else. The first thing it's important to understand is that after Sticks and Stones came out, Daphne was actively searching Twitter for discussion of the special, particularly tweets related to her / the epilogue. The pattern is apparent in her replies, but she directly stated it here. I have no interest in Dave Chappelle and his transgender jokes. I don't care what Daphne does or says, cause you mentioned me, thanks algorithms. I said algorithms, I have alerts set up for these things. I didn't say you used my screen name. Good luck to you though, I won't be engaging further. Keep in mind, Dave hadn't yet mentioned Daphne's last name or said she was on Twitter in that SNS epilogue. So in cases like this, the original tweet didn't tag at Daphne Dorman and was written with no expectation that Daphne would see it, hence Daphne explaining how she found it. Full disclosure, the no interest tweeter also posted this tweet in that thread. Does Daphne is a white, that's what that's supposed to mean by the way, count as dragging in Dave Chappelle's book? If so, seems like that would just raise further questions. Daphne's tweet searching means that in many cases like these, where it seems like she may have been responding to a tweet that upset her, we not only can't be sure what the content / tone of the original comment was, we also can't be sure the tweeter ever expected her to see their words. So there's more tweets deleted. I am not a token anything, nor am I embarrassed. Thing is, I didn't. There's a different way to express the earlier part of my life, but it's harder to understand, and saying it throws off the rhythm of the joke, so I know why Dave says it that way. I wish people afforded comics more room for this kind of artistic expression. Everybody's in a rush to be mad these days. Nobody's interested in listening to or taking care of each other. Unfollow me if you think Chappelle's jokes are funny so I can weed out the homophobes and transphobes. He's not transphobic. If any of those original tweeters were being nasty to Daphne, I'm not saying that's okay. I'm saying that a small number of tweets that maybe mentioned Daphne and were maybe mean isn't the same thing as, oh my god, they wouldn't stop hounding her scenario many folks are imagining. Yeah, we're getting a bit of an X-Files thing. Like, this person has spent a lot of time putting this together. Like, a lot of time. We have to give Springs in My Step some credit here. I mean, obviously, I'm literally using their thread for content. Let's go, boys. We're going for it. Then we have cases like these. Again, we can't see some of the original tweets in the threads Daphne was responding to, but the fact that she's explaining who she is in her replies casts a lot of doubt on the likelihood of those missing tweets being personal attacks. So joke about anything but trans people, got it. If you're not black, don't talk about black people. If you're not male, don't talk about males. If you're not a comedian, don't talk about comedians. I'm the Daphne he talks about in his epilogue. He's a master of his craft, a true genius. Boys, asterisk, as a non-gendered term. Can we use boys as a non-gendered term? Yeah, the fucking boys. As the trans woman in the epilogue of Sticks and Stones, I say he is. Comedians should support each other, and one way Dave Chappelle could support me more is by calling me a F-slur less. When the comments really prove your point, he supported me. Did you see the epilogue? Blah, blah, blah. A lot of what's happening here seems to be people hear Dave say Daphne was dragged, and they look for evidence of dragging and can't find any. Rather than stopping to reconsider number one, they treat any deleted/unavailable tweet Daphne replied to as proof of the dragging. Excuse me, I'm gassy because I've had coke tonight. Yeah, the fucking boys. Thing is, you can use Internet Archive captures from past dates to find or reconstruct large chunks of Twitter conversations people are using as proof, and that dragging accusation doesn't hold up. Some of the screen caps being used as evidence and their reconstructed forms, the proof versus the reality. Would have been nice if she had watched the entire Chappelle special as well. She only admits to have seen excerpts about of jokes about trans. As the trans woman Dave talks about in his epilogue, I wish members of my community paid attention to the whole message. And then we see a story in 4 parts. Can we open this in a thing? ContraPoints, Dave Chappelle, cancel culture, the comedian's new Netflix special, deftly skewers woke scolds. Reaching but okay, how criticizing the repetitive nature of someone's humor and Contra getting cancelled for expressing her feelings about dysphoria are entirely different situations. She moaned about him criticizing cancel culture. She was a victim of cancel culture. Curb Your Enthusiasm music plays. Finn. No, actually, she just criticized how repetitive his humor. God, that English hurts me. Even going as far as to say she finds Dave really funny, which made how unoriginal his jokes was for her something worse. She wasn't defending cancel culture. I'm guessing you haven't actually watched it. There's that line again. We love that one. You haven't actually watched it. Would have been nice if she had watched the entire Chappelle special as well. She admits to only having seen excerpts. And then, there we go. There's Daphne's tweet again. The proof, a whole thread. Deleted, suspended, deleted, suspended, deleted, suspended, deleted. He does say I told him that at all because I did not. The proof versus the reality. Here's the thing. Whoops. We don't need that. Goodness, there's a whole lot here. Okay, so... No, it doesn't have to be funny to everyone. That's nonsensical, but it doesn't have to be at the expense of marginalized people. Look at who's co-opting the far right. That should tell us something. The whole far right is co-opting as a failed argument to me based on my online experience, blah, blah, blah. So just went through something similar in the Native community. I'm really curious how this is any different from white comedians being checked for black jokes. I have no problem with white comedians making jokes as long as they're intelligent and funny. So it's just a whole bunch of things. And then we finally get to Daphne here. He absolutely used Daphne to say his transphobic jokes were fine. Are you familiar with that exchange? I'm not assuming he's not a survivor. Why would you think that? I'm saying that other survivors are saying this is harmful to them. And then she responds there. Welcome to the conversation, Daphne. Thank you. You know, I'm not doing that at all. Daphne has every right to laugh at whatever they want. I'm saying Daphne or any one individual cannot give a pass on phobic behavior that most other people in their marginalized demographic find to be harmful. And I don't even think Daphne did that. The proof here is in the pudding. The proof versus the reality. There's just a whole bunch of these. Honestly. All this proof happened with... all this proof, what the hell happened to Netflix and chill? I thought you said with. I'm like, well, yeah, I'd like to just Netflix and chill, honestly. I didn't give anybody a pass. I simply asked him a question. And what's she saying there too? Well, yeah, I don't think Daphne didn't give him a pass, yeah. The proof versus the reality, again. Of course, I'm outraged by that. I think you're conflating a lot of issues here. I think he is defending me and my community and what was actually said. I love all the people who watched the epilogue writing to ask me if Dave Chappelle asked for my consent before he reached up my skirt, and I'm all like, I don't know, I was too busy sucking his big comedy dick. It said activist in your bio, shouldn't you be outraged by this? South Carolina death marks 14th black transgender woman killed in the US this year. Of course I'm outraged by that. I think you're conflating a lot of issues here. Yeah, right. Thank you for the primate. Why did that trigger an alert or not? Did that trigger an alert? I feel like I heard an alert. Did I see one? Anyway. Pardon? Okay, cool. Many of the trans women killed are involved in professions that generally have a high level of danger. That doesn't make it okay, but can help with perspective. I think it's about being self-aware of your surroundings. If a group of people are being attacked or killed daily, is it okay to talk about them if you are not going to defend them? People had different opinions than Daphne, sure. That last one was even the rare example of someone replying to one of her original tweets to say so. But were these folks dragging her all over Twitter? Seems like in most cases they were discussing sticks and stones and Daphne chose to join in. After going through all Daphne's own replies, here's the meanest thing I could find anyone being to her. Name calling, definitely not nice or okay. But 1, Daphne joined a thread where tensions were already high. And 2, all of this happened before she even posted the punching down tweet. So let's open this. I'm going to open this big. So just a reminder thread to all Dave Chappelle fans out there that when you laugh at a punchline that is basically trans people aren't who they say they are deluded and why should I treat them with respect, then you are being shitty to all trans people. T's getting mad again. This tweet's unavailable. They will never accept you. They will use you to make themselves look good, but they will never accept you. There you go, Doc. What do you want me to call you now, Hilda? Anyway. Dave Chappelle accepted me enough to feature me in his special, bought me a drink, we exchanged jokes for hours, I felt accepted, and fuck everybody else. I don't need his acceptance or yours or anybody else's, none of us should. He accepted you as the punchline of his jokes, you idiot. You straight up that stupid, you don't understand, you're just validating his shittiness. It's the same I have a minority friend so it's okay argument. I'll move my camera for a sec. To be clear, so I understand you here, you're insulting me for not seeing this situation the same as you, which is what you're accusing Dave of. Interesting take to be sure. Best of luck to you. Hope you find a better outlet for your rage issues. I won't be engaging further. And then there's another thread response. So that's one person's response. This is another person's response. Don't need his acceptance. That doesn't magically make him saying shitty things less shitty or any of the other stuff he has done less shitty. Hell, he used you to make a point about how trans people that don't like him are weird and the good trans people, you know, the good ones. Is that the right phrase? The pick-me's, basically. You are being used. His fans won't accept you based on the stuff they sent us. They will use you to make themselves feel better about laughing at their favorite comedian, but they won't listen to you about anything else. It is your call. You truly do feel trapped. Huh, that's got to be... it's tough to be that cynical. What if my people just laid down like you? Bitch, of course no everyone is about to respect you. Get used to it. You seriously think we are new to this? We are a bunch of journo activists who work for free to get info for the wider community. We do shit all the time, but then you decide from one thread that I'm saying something that I never said. Huh? The good Tesla. the Blair Whites of the community, you know. So, you know, really just comes in, escalates, then implies the person is bad for overreacting. Yeah, I'll take a break soon, babe. I will. I'll finish this thread. I don't want to go through all of it, but maybe the bullying tweets weren't replies or replied to. To check that possibility, I ran a bunch of Twitter searches. You can see the details and try the searches yourself in another thread I made, but the TLDR is, nope, no dragging there. Maybe all the bullying was in direct messages. Problem with that idea. Private DMs don't meet the usual definition of dragging, much less the very clear parallel with Dave's very own public dragging he established right before saying Daphne was dragged on Twitter. 2. You have to opt in to even receive DM requests from people you don't follow on Twitter. My DM requests are open because I'm an idiot. No, that doesn't make it okay if anyone was trying to send Daphne mean DMs, but the woman was a pro web programmer. I won't insult her skills by saying she didn't know how to flip a switch. Excuse me, goodness. On top of, you know, the total lack of actual evidence of dragging provided by the literal hundreds of people who are acting very angry about it on Twitter. Echo, go get some sleep. Have a good night, friend. I've yet to see evidence of that dragging presented in even the clickbaitiest contemporary news reports about Daphne's death, and there's another big red flag. As Daphne herself admitted, she was using alerts and searches to find tweets to read, like, and reply to. That accounts for a huge chunk of her Twitter activity after Sticks and Stones. Now, I've been on the internet long enough to see my share of garbage situations. You know what you don't need to do when you're in the center of a giant online shitstorm? Go out hunting for more shit. Even allowing for morbid curiosity, who in that situation has the time? Daphne Dorman was not dragged for days on Twitter after posting a tweet that defended Dave Chappelle. It did not happen. But didn't Daphne's family come forward to support Dave's story? Nope. You've got to remember to read past the headlines of articles, and yes, that includes you, writers for The Economist. Rightio, Hilda, have a good one. Thank you so kindly for swinging by tonight. It was a pleasure to see you again. Excuse me. Maybe you saw a link to or screenshot of a Daily Mail headline making the rounds, but did you also see the article's current headline? How it started versus how it's going. Daphne Dorman, trans woman, was bullied to death for defending Dave Chappelle. Trans woman Daphne Dorman bullied to death for defending Dave Chappelle. Family of trans woman who said Dave Chappelle in Netflix special, said was hounded to death for defending his jokes in 2019 slam woke mob trying to cancel him. Good. Who's reading this as a headline? Sister says you can't demand everyone see it your way. Seriously, who is reading this as a headline? Fucking Christ. That current headline, warning for dead naming in the text, plants any accusation that a woke mob hounded Daphne to death squarely on Dave Chappelle's shoulders. Why? Probably because nowhere in the article does the family say a damn thing about that. My opinion or Daphne's estimated opinion does not show people's feelings weren't crushed over Dave Chappelle's show, she said. People's reactions and emotions cannot be belittled or pushed to the side. So there's a whole lot here. Jesus Christ. Where are these excerpt screenshots from? Hello, Clara. How's it going? Her humor veiled a dark past. Sister brushed off critics who have slammed Chappelle's transgender jokes, saying the comedian loved Dorman. Speaking about her sister's comedy streak, Becky Kugler told Daily Mail just from the word go she was all very funny. She could make the sentence "the dog took a crap" hysterically funny. It's just the way she can use her descriptive words and how she worded things. Noun phrases should not be 20 words long, Daily Mail. In her mind, he wasn't giving the LBGTQ, why are they phrasing it that way, lack of support, nor was he giving them support. He was making jokes because that's what comedians do, Kugler told the Daily Mail. In her opinion, you make jokes about everything. Dorman had a very traumatic childhood. She declined to elaborate on those troubled years. She seemed very sad during their last text exchange. Dorman's other sibling, Brandy, told the Daily Beast, Dave loved my sister and is an LGBTQ ally. She was bringing up our childhood. She didn't feel it was fair that our father didn't lose out on raising children, even though he was the one causing all of our PTSD now. She was very sad, and that's why I truly believe that's what she meant by she failed. She feels like she failed at getting past our trauma. That's important. According to Dorman's sister, she spent much of her adult years trying to find peace in her life. She tried therapy, and she explored every religion out there. She was known among her friends and family for her thought-provoking conversations, affinity for memorizing random facts, hysterically funny personality. Dorman spoke to her sister on a weekly basis and had not seen her physically since the gender transition. Kugler said she learned of her siblings' plan to make a drastic life change about 12 years ago when Dorman called her from then Texas house. I explained to her that I just don't care what she did as long as she was happy and safe. That was my biggest concern at the time. She was living in Texas. And I just told her that Texas was not the state to be in if she was going to do this because they're not safe. Dorman then moved to California, where Kugler saw her for the last time during a 2013 family vacation. Siblings continue to communicate on at least a weekly basis through video calls. Kugler said she wasn't offended by Chappelle's special, but understands other people might have been, and then there's that again. I still support it and respect everyone and respect everyone's right to be treated like a human being. We don't all have to agree on what's funny, what's crossing the line, or where any of those lines are. If you don't like something, you're entitled to that opinion, but to demand everyone see it your way won't work. Oh, good Lord, there's so much. There's so much in here. You saw a routine of Daphne Dorman's. So she couldn't accept Dave was transphobic and eventually took her own life. I feel like this is like, I'm just going to interject here. I am recording this whole segment, but anyway. And say that I don't think the two are related at all. I think she defended Dave Chappelle and she took her own life, but the two aren't exactly explicitly related. To basically sum up the whole thing, there's so many more details here. Again, if you want to read the thread, this is one of the tweets in the thread, and it goes from, you can scroll up, you can scroll down. Basically, a lot of people, like, she tweeted her support of Dave Chappelle. She said he wasn't transphobic and all of this kind of stuff. And then people drew this conclusion that because she defended Dave Chappelle, she was relentlessly dragged on Twitter by the LGBTQ plus community to the point where she took her own life. But the facts there just simply don't line up. The evidence doesn't line up, you know? So that entire shtick, which Chappelle himself feeds into in The Closer, you know? And yeah, there's also this Facebook thing as well. 99% sure this is legit and real. Daphne's best friend and roommate says Dave Chappelle's depiction of his relationship. And yeah, there's a whole thing here as well. There's this whole thing here as well. Daphne's story continued. TLDR, too long didn't read. I beg you not to watch Dave Chappelle's special. 2 years since Daphne chose to end her life. I don't say committed suicide because committed implies that it's a crime. I mean, that's a good point, actually. It seems surreal that she missed the COVID pandemic Tiger King. Oh, let's not waffle on about that. People ask me if she killed herself because of Dave Chappelle, mentioning his blah blah blah. Before DC's 2019 special, he really butted her up, promising to mentor her, take her under his wing. I was suspicious of his antics and didn't appreciate his style of humor, but I was happy for Daphne if she was happy. In the latest special, he starts off his piece with trans people. I'm not saying trans women aren't women. Then he calls trans vaginas beyond pussy. He says multiple times he's a TERF. Self-describes himself as transphobic. Sorry, multiple times. He says he is a TERF. Mentioned the story of when he met Daphne. The bitch bombed for 45 minutes straight. That show was terrible. Like, we've all heard this kind of stuff before. So anyway, I think this is the most pertinent point. I think I've seen this before. I've seen this before. My friend Daphne killed herself. She identifies as a woman. Then he describes how she killed herself. Clearly only a man would do some gangster shit like that. I don't know the details of how she did it. I don't want to know. Which, like, that's just fucking gross. That's just a gross thing to say. I don't even know how he found that out because her friends and family didn't say that publicly because it's private and painful. And beyond that, studies have shown that mentioning specifically how people kill themselves only causes more suicides. This is why I hate 13 Reasons Why, because they actively depicted suicide. But Dave doesn't care. He continues, as hard as it is to hear a joke like that, Daphne would have loved that joke. Maybe she would, maybe she wouldn't, but she killed herself and can't defend herself anymore. He goes on to say, I don't know what the trans community did for her and I don't care because she was my tribe. He says Daphne killed herself because trans people were criticizing her on Twitter, so he's blaming trans people for causing her death, the big crux of this issue. Some next level victim blaming / gaslighting, and then there's some happy photos of her. He ends his mockery of her saying he said he wants to tell Daphne's daughter, I knew your father and he was a wonderful woman. Dave Chappelle doesn't give a fuck about trans people. He deliberately goes out of his way to make fun of us, even making fun of his alleged friend after her death. If you are reading this and made it this far, please take a moment to ask Netflix to remove the special. I'm not going to do that kind of shit. At the absolute most, I would request of Netflix to add disclaimers saying, you know, this special contains transphobic content. You know, I'm not one of those people that's like, remove the special or whatever. But to wrap that whole segment up, you know, to close on this particular segment, because we've been going for a good while now, and I think I need to take a break from this. It's been, like, I was reading this while I was on the treadmill this morning. I only did half an hour of cardio. Forgive me, I didn't do my full hour. But I was reading this, and I just kept going. You know, I was doing HIIT, so I was doing like 2 minutes cardio, 2 minutes like at a reasonably fast walking pace, then jogging, then walking, then sprinting. Like, I was doing that, and every time I was stopping for my walk, I'd pick my phone up and I'd be scrolling, just like reading this thread, just constantly. I did not finish it. There's so much in here. If you want to read this, go ahead and read this. Again, the thread is just here. I need some cuddles, I need a water break. But yeah, there's a lot here that disproves Chappelle's remarks about Daphne Dorman and his remarks about the trans community. It all just, you know, reeks of persistent transphobia that has been platformed by Netflix, and Chappelle really can't absolve himself of the harm he has done to a marginalized queer community here. You know, he's really just pointed the finger at all trans people and said, you bullied this woman to death, but the evidence does not support that case. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. I don't really have any further comments. You've seen everything that there is to see on it. I mean, there's more. There's also this. Here's what Dave Chappelle said in the closer. And I don't know what the trans community did. Oh, yeah, we already read that bit. So, yeah. Daphne was this great, cool person, funny and instantly likable, but she had no friends who truly cared about her even a little bit. So there's insulting Daphne on top of that. And then it starts going into some other stuff, I think. But just broadly speaking, generally speaking, there's the facts. At least there's the Twitter facts. There's what's available on Twitter that kind of disproves that whole thing. Disproves that whole, the trans community, whatever the amorphous blob known as the trans community is supposed to be. Somebody feel free to clear this up for me, because I honestly can't put it together. Trans people exist, and we're not a monolith. Anyway, this segment's going up on YouTube, so it's probably going to be a long one, honestly. If you enjoyed this, which you probably didn't, most of my YouTube content is fucking depressing, like, comment, and subscribe, and then give me money over here at twitch.tv/ whatever my name is. Twitch.tv/Abigail Beck. There you go. All right. I'll be back in a minute, folks. I haven't taken my break yet. Bad people acting in bad faith can do bad things. Lawful evil, pretty much. Okay, so. Yeah, the main point is he spoke as if they were friends, close friends, but he didn't attend her funeral, her memorials, didn't get in touch with her friends or family, and then talked about her on stage, yeah, as if they were totes besties. All right, I'm going to go get my hugs. I'm going to go take a quick break, go pee, do all that fun stuff. We'll be back in a moment. We'll talk about the Rittenhouse trial or whatever else. I don't know. What's up, friendos? I am back. Give me a sec to turn the music down. Hello, hello, it's your girl. What's happening? What's going on? What's the news? Your wife has gone down a misinformation rabbit hole, and I don't believe she'll ever recover from it. COVID, zombies, sun flares, political BS, all kinds of stuff. It's crazy the things she says now. That's very worrying, goodness me. Hello, Glitch, by the way. How you doing? Welcome in. What's been going on while I've been away? The ableism is strong with that one? Who? Ableism is strong with who? Your GF got you an hoodie. Oh, by the way, Yara, thank you for gifting us up to yeah. Anyway. Anyway, hello Skylar, how's it going? How's it going, folks? Been talking about Bad Bunny. I like Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny's been really cool to me. You love that? It's a dress. It's a spinny dress. It's very cute. Oh, we hit our daily sub goal. We did. We hit our daily sub goal, so I can change it and milk you people for even more money. I shouldn't say that out loud. Damn it. I did it again. Oh, bother. Oh, well, at least you know why I'm really here. Anyway, what are we gonna do? Surprised I saw me. Yeah, I don't often wear other colors. Most of my wardrobe is black these days. I like wearing black. It's nice. Milk? No. Sadly, I don't have milkies. Well, I do have milkies. Not very much, though. But anyway. Oh, bother. I might be Winnie the Pooh. You don't know. I mean, you be the judge. Here we go. Let's just clarify for. I don't wear padded things, by the way. Hang on. I'll bring my mic back in a second. Oh no. Does that work? Hang on. Content does not meet guidelines. You're kidding me. Oh my god. There we go. Okay. That'll have to do. Does Abby have mummy milk bags? I have to ask. I have to affirm my gender. Yes, I got pride flags. You like my pride flags? Got my lesbian flag and my trans flag there just to show my solidarity as a heterosexual cisgender woman with the lesbian and trans communities specifically. You know, I am a cisgender woman who was born with a vagina and is strictly attracted to masculine, manly men, but I do show my solidarity with the queers, of which I am not them. Honest. I'm not very convincing at this, am I? No. I couldn't even pretend to be cis. Honestly. Guilty ban all guns. We haven't even gotten into Rittenhouse yet. Anyways. What a poll to join to. Welcome in, Clara. How you going? Even less convincing than my cousin, and that was terrible. Trad femme Abby. I mean, this outfit is kind of trad femme-ish if you ignore the... I could wear a little cross with this, and honestly, it would be quite... it would be quite trad femme. Let's be real here. This could work. I could be a nice church-going woman who follows all of the tenets of the Lord, and I will marry a handsome, strapping man, and I will provide him with 13 babies. Some bullshit like that. I don't fucking know. What do trad femmes do aside from suck the dick of Jesus? What does being cis even entail? You'd be surprised how many cis people are very invested in their gender despite being so against any of the gender bullshit. Trad femme and goth is one and the same. BDSM with the names who voted no. Voted no because I have a nice body, but you're ace, so no sexualization for you. It's not necessarily sexualization, though, is it? It's just an observation. Do I have mummy milk bags? And maybe I do. It doesn't necessarily need to be, you know, sexualized. It's only if you perceive it as sexual. Wear a sword instead, so conservatives think it's a cross from a distance. I should get something more like a claymore or something with a more obvious blade guard, whatever it's called, a more obvious wrist guard thing, and then like have that slung over my shoulder. I was like, I'm carrying my own crucifix, and I will slay with it. All males transition in the womb to begin with. Yeah, it's quite funny, that, honestly. I wonder like what the evolutionary reason for that is. Maybe it's because, like, you know, I mean, technically speaking, people with the breeding bits, the womb and all of that, can't really reproduce without the seed of the males of the species. But, like, I was thinking, like, is there a reason specifically that embryos start out female and then transition works into male in the womb? God makes mistakes pretty much all the time, yes. People probably mistake your sword earrings for crosses. True, they probably do, actually. Default settings. Have you heard the Y chromosome is shrinking also? Like, over the course of human history, that part of the chromosome has observably been shrinking. That's interesting. I wonder what does that actually mean, though, in the grand scheme of things? A lot of stuff in development biology doesn't make sense. We grow a light coat of fur in the womb and then lose it. Just some legacy code. Yeah. Like, it's weird how people, like, honestly, when we talk about the whole, the biological reality of everything, I mentioned this on the Bird app recently, that the appeal to biological reality, like the facts of biology, is honestly just yet another appeal to divinity, in much the same way that religious homophobes will be like, you're going against the word of God. It means nothing. Like, to say that, you know, it's the biological reality that there are males and females, it's appealing to, it's saying nothing. It's actually refusing to take a stance. This is why, and this pisses off so many transphobes, when you say shit like biological sex is a social construct. Because it is. The modern understanding of biological sex in the broad sense, most people understand biological sex as there's males and females. But we do have a broader scientific understanding of biological sex beyond that. We are aware that biological sex is not strictly binary, that not like the entire human race is not strictly one or the other. We're aware of this. The science is a lot deeper than that. But the social construct part of it is that the significant majority of people are going to think, oh yeah, biologically there's boys and girls, there's men and women, you know? And we're convinced, and then as a result, gender being tied to that. Oh, if you got a penis, you're a man. That's the social construct, right? You legit think God is intersex and we're arguing about nothing, essentially, and Ormans fucked up the words so they could keep their opinions valid. Yeah. The pinnacle of human form is anime waifus. You're not wrong. Did a talk once about Guevadoches or penis at 12 on a place in Haiti where they did not grow a penis until they hit puberty, so they are raised as girls until that happens. I've heard of this. I have heard of this before, and it's not exclusive to Haiti, obviously. But does that count as intersex? Because I've heard of that before. Like, there are people who, until they reach puberty, have a vagina, and then as they start developing through puberty, they grow a penis. Like, this is a thing that we've got documentation on this. It's a wild concept. Like, it's gonna go right over a lot of people's heads, but it's a real thing that happens. Do they still have the vaginal canal? I honestly don't know the finer details. This is one of those things where it's like, this is a thing that happens, but I haven't looked too deeply into it, which is generally people's understanding of gender. It's more that their penis doesn't fall in the womb like normally. It's not intersex. Okay. It's strange, but not in like a that person's a weird freak kind of way. It's strange in a way that I don't 100% comprehend it. But that's the attitude a lot of people are going to take towards it. Oh, that person... Oh, you meant to type Romans, not Ormans. That makes more sense. The penis is safe and retracted, but the urethra is part of the penis, which has a head and... Lal. Head and all. I don't know. But yeah, generally speaking, if you try to bring up the existence of intersex people, if you try to bring up that sex is bimodally a spectrum, we got 2 peaks in the sex spectrum, and there are points in between that in the valley and points outside of that. People start losing their fucking minds and saying, oh, being intersex is just a genetic mutation. Well, it affects a significant amount of people. Who said like 2%? Like, that's not an insignificant number of people. If you have a room full of 50 people, there is a significant chance that one of those people is intersex, whether they know it or not. They are genetically male, but the hormone that should be there in the womb is not present, but when puberty starts, they go through that development then. Genetic mutation is kind of how we got here, if you believe conventional science. Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, so someone has a mutation. How do you think the rest of this shit came to be? Like, that's literally it. Like, there's no... And honestly, again, the appeal to the biological reality or whatever it is, like the facts and the science... the science has always supported shit just fucking happens for some reason. You know, it's not as though, and again, like I mentioned before, it's an appeal to divinity. It's an appeal to this idea that there is some god that has meticulously crafted out every single thing that's going to happen biologically. Except they're not saying that. They're not saying the divinity part. They're not saying the god part out loud. They're trying to hide behind, oh look, but the science actually says this. The scientists have done this. They've recorded all this science and it proves you wrong, transgenders. Proves what wrong? For the record, proves what wrong? It's always weird when people can't make the distinction between a social idea and a scientific one. And even then, social ideas are scientific because they are scientifically studied. I don't know. Excuse me. God's a bit of a wanker if he's out there. He really is. Oh, yeah, I think I've seen this before. We'll take a look at this in a second, Clara. The Beyond XX and XY science chart. Yeah, I've seen this before. We can have a look at this. Claiming superiority, often infallible authority, is the act of the fearful who wrap themselves up in self-ordained ignorance, but that's really easy to break through, as they are the worst kind of blasphemers. To claim the Bible is God's word is to liken a fallible man as equal to God, which I've never been that confident. That breaks Fundy's tried and tested Bible was wrote by man, not God. Yeah, exactly. God literally killed everyone who ever died. I know, right? What an asshole. I wouldn't trust God. Are you kidding? Once upon a time, they collected dinosaur bones thinking they were the bones of giant men simply because the Bible told them so. I remember I once watched a video by Armored Skeptic, which I know is a heresy in and of itself.
Your membership. Thank you for half a year of excellent lighting and quality discourse.
You're welcome. Thank you so kindly for the 6 months, you entire legend goblins. Let's have a look at this. Factors that determine sex. Chromosomes, genes, conception. Hormones, internal and external sex organs, birth. Secondary sex characteristics such as breasts and facial hair, puberty. Alright. This is a big image. This has got a lot in information in it. I watched a video by Armored Skeptic that was about the giant people. Also, I think the reason people consider Armored Skeptic bad is because he's relatively centrist leaning. But I watched this video of him talking about the giant bones and all of that kind of stuff in ancient civilizations. These bricks were way too big for any normal human to lift and put in a position. Must have been giants, that kind of thing. And to this day, I can't tell, like, the way he framed the video really felt like he was arguing in favor of the giant people, but I can't tell if he was, like, taking the piss. I'm still not 100% sure. He might have been having a laugh. I'm uncertain. I haven't watched much of his content beyond, like, his movie stuff. But yeah, as I watched that video, I'm like, hang on. Is he being for real right now? Is this satire? Because it kind of came off as a really well-produced flat earther conspiracy theory kind of vibe. It's like, look, here's the facts that prove the giant people. But at the same time, I'm thinking, he believes a lot of this stuff? Okay. I've only seen that one video of his that dips into, like, into the conspiratorial stuff. I haven't actually touched on the Rittenhouse stuff yet. We'll read an article shortly. So the gender spectrum. A transgender woman is a person who is assigned male at birth based on her anatomy, but who identifies as a woman. A cisgender woman is a woman who is assigned female at birth based on her anatomy, and who also identifies as a woman. A non-binary person is someone who identifies as neither completely female nor completely male. Such an individual may identify with both genders or neither, or they may be gender fluid, meaning their gender fluctuates between female and male. A transgender man is a person who is assigned female at birth based on his anatomy, but who identifies as a man. A cisgender man is a person who is assigned male at birth based on his anatomy, who also identifies as a man. Excuse me. There was a lot of different species of homos. It's really interesting to learn about that. Like, one kind of human actually evolved to go back into the trees, yeah. Hate the argument that things like the pyramids and Stonehenge were made by aliens. Have you so little faith in human ingenuity? Yeah. Like, there was a lot of scientific stuff that was just lost through a significant period of history. Like, we live in a very British colonial world. Our understanding of the world is quite limited. Sexuality refers to an individual's sexual orientation or the kind of person to whom they are attracted. Sexuality is also a spectrum, but is separate from both sex and gender. And this is interesting, actually. I've been contemplating this quite a lot recently, because I've noticed I don't know if this is a recent trend or if it's just a resurgent trend. I've noticed a lot of transphobes going on about how, like, a lot of gay transphobes. Okay, so a lot of gays and lesbians who are also transphobic, and maybe even bisexuals who are transphobic, who have been bollocking on about how it's the super straight thing, but framed in a different way. It's like, I'm a homosexual. I'm attracted to the sex characteristics of my partner. And I'm like, I've really never heard that, though. Until the super straights thing, really. I mean, yeah, generally speaking, I had this understanding that lesbians like pussy and gays like cock, of course. Like, I understand that generally. But I've never known anyone to be so fanatically devout when it comes to the biological sex of their partner. Like, by all means, have a genital preference, but these people have got a really ridiculous attachment to it that seems unrealistic. And it seems fabricated, it seems trollish. You know, it seems like it's not a real group of people that actually believe these things, and they're just trying to find other ways to demean and dehumanize trans people by saying we're homophobic by virtue of existing, I suppose. I don't know. That might be the thing. Anyway. Moving along now. The point I was trying to make there is, like, I've generally understood sexuality as to refer to your sexual attraction to someone's gender. You know, I know a lot of straight women who are attracted to men. Not attracted to their cock, not attracted to their testicles, not attracted to their chromosomes, attracted to men. We had this discussion last night, but they're attracted to the way a person presents, their gender, right? They're attracted to the kind of man that they're interested in. They have specific traits that relate to gender, which is generally how you present, right? It's your identity. Oh God, what happened? If you've got to go down on a woman during her menstrual period, you got timed out for 1 second because you said super straight. LaMayo. Have genital preferences if you want, but it is cringe. It is cringe. Like, I don't have an issue with people having genital preferences. I don't think that's cringe. It's when people make it a part of their personality. LaMayo. It's when people make it their whole thing. It's like, I'm specifically attracted to vaginas. Anyway, that's beside the point. 5-alpha reductase deficiency is an intersex condition that can follow multiple pathways throughout development. Affected individuals typically have a chromosomal makeup of 46XY like a typical biological male, but a genetic mutation causes a deficiency of the hormone dihydrotestosterone. Patients' external anatomy can vary, so an individual might be assigned to either sex at birth. Excuse me. But at puberty, a surge of testosterone promotes male characteristics. As a result, patients who are raised as girls often end up identifying as male. So here we go. 46XX, absence of SRY gene, typical biological female, female internal and external genital structures, female hormones, primarily estrogen, female secondary characteristics. SRY gene may be present, intersex conditions, Turner syndrome, female internal and external structures, impaired ovarian development, slight variations from typical female, such as elevated levels of male hormones. Hormonal birth control can regulate effects of male hormones. So 45X, this is the chromosome. So 46XX, 45X, Turner syndrome. God, this is a whole thing you would have to go through. Jesus Christ. Does anyone want to learn today? Because there's a lot you can learn today if you want to go through this whole thing. It's all connected, like it's all a bunch of weaving arrows and shit. But this graph would give you a good understanding. I mean, there's the cliff notes at the top there. Really intersex stuff is a... thank you for the link to the chart, by the way, Clara. But yeah, just there's a lot in there. And that's the thing, right? It's like, generally speaking, most people aren't going to have that understanding of sex. They're not going to have that understanding of gender either. Like, that's all just biological sex stuff. You know, that is strictly with regards to the makeup of the body, right? Once we start getting into the gender stuff, it's a whole other discussion. Because gender is strictly social. It's more about how you present, how you identify, how you express yourself. It's so many other factors. Gender is not just, I'm an attack helicopter, you know. If I wanted to learn today, I'd have been studying for a test I totally didn't have in like 2 days. You should be studying. I have been considering going back to university sometime very soon, in the next semester maybe, depending on circumstances. And if I do, we could definitely turn that kind of content into stream content, I reckon. Just like taking my education and giving it to you. But not really. I mean, there's a ton of stuff in there that'd be interesting to learn about and then reinforce those ideas in my head by streaming about them. Like Riley Grace for Strong? I suppose so, yeah. Like RGR does law stuff, does legal stuff, so, you know. Most people think intersex people are some sort of weird, really rare, non-considerable mutation. Exactly. You've discovered your demi. There's a whole bunch of sexualities you never knew existed. Well, yeah. Where would you go? What would you study? I'm already enrolled in university. I just haven't been studying this semester. I did last semester. I might go back next semester. I'm doing sociology, social science, bachelor's. The goal is to eventually have a degree. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. You know, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but it'd be nice to have a degree. I'd like to continue on to a doctorate and get doctor next to my name like my cousin. That'd be neat. Anyway. So, see, you're straight, but you've always been aware that it is predominantly about the gender and secondarily about the sex as reminder of the gender. You're only nervous about peni in the sense that I'm nervous it could trigger the rest of it outside of my control. The trigger the rest of what? I'm confused. You honestly think you're straight significantly due to childhood issues and trauma. Interesting. You did your PhD in sociology/cultural studies nonsense. It would be fun to hang out in the study streams. I mean, I could do it. You know, that would be good. I'd like to expand into that content, honestly. It's something I considered for a long time. I don't like it. What's the legality around that, though? You know, as a student, how much are you able to show, like, say, scientific papers? If I was to write an essay on stream, if I do an essay writing stream, how much am I allowed to show of what I'm reading and what I'm prepping and all that kind of thing? So hang on, trigger warning because this is gross, but there's a thing called muffing where trans women tuck into the inguinal canals and can be fingered in said holes. Read about it in a transzine once. Also heard cis doctors say you shouldn't tuck into your inguinal canals. Yeah, I've tried tucking the boys, the girls, I don't know, what do you call them, into the inguinal canals, and it's very, very uncomfortable. It doesn't seem like something that would be... I don't imagine that would be fun. If you have institutional access, there's no reason you can't share the articles. Interesting. The boys, I mean, they still... Well, I mean, my testosterone is so suppressed, I don't actually have any anymore. I'm literally at, like, 0 testosterone. I have no grip strength. I can't open jars anymore. You know. That's actually a lie. it's because I got fucking guns. Look at this shit. Anyway, secret vagina. This is a hell of a rabbit hole. It is. This is an interesting conversation. So like the rest of it refers to a deep-rooted and convoluted fear of men. I think I understand. It doesn't really surface much. Like, I get that. I get that. Yours is way down to less than 1. Yeah, mine's less than 1. Nice muscles. This is a free flex for you. Us. Inguinal canals. Basically, men will probably know of this. Have you ever had that situation where it feels like your balls have gone up into you? They do. They actually legitimately do. And they hang out in there before they drop in puberty. But they go back up there when it's like really cold. It's a thing. You'll notice sometimes in certain occasions, it's like, where'd my balls go? They're up inside your body keeping warm. That's a thing that happens. Fucks me why. But anyway. And apparently sumo wrestlers can retract their balls at will. That's fucking scary. Where they used to be, they don't fit anymore really. Yeah, you can't, they don't go all the way up there. But, you know, a little bit of the way. A friend of mine says muffing can feel really good. That's weird. Yeah, you definitely know you're not going to study anytime soon. Oh shit, my balls are gone. Sweet, that saves me money. My doctor keeps trying to convince me not to get orchy. I really want to get orchy. I really do. I think I'd like to start saving for it, honestly. Doctor keeps trying to tell me, don't get orchy because then later on down the track. Because, like, orchy's significantly cheaper than full bottom surgery. Right? Like, significantly. You'd be paying the price of a hatchback sedan, brand new from a dealership, to get the full bottom surgery. But orchy, whatever. But you'd be paying the price of like a pretty decent television to get an orchy or an orky, whatever. You know, I kind of want to just, you know, I'd rather pay for a TV than a new car. I've already got a car. I'd like a new TV. Somebody buy me a new TV. Anyway. Also, you never have to take AAs after an orgy. Yeah, pretty much. You can get a specialist who will do it so any future surgery will not be affected. Yeah, that's the thing. I've heard like it can be done so that it can preserve the tissue, right? You have bottom surgery in 2 hours. Holy shit, Pog. All this genitals talk is like exposure therapy. It's making you feel less anxious. Well, there we go. Let's continue talking about genitalia. That's a good idea. Anyway. Fucking good luck, mate. Yeah, hell yeah. Get it. Get that bottom surgery. Should I just start a GoFundMe? I don't know. Should I start a GoFundMe for my bottom surgery so I can get my balls done? Get my balls cut off? I'm honestly like, this is TMI and probably giving any transphobes lurking in chat more ammunition to use against me because they know I've got a cock. I'm not fussed by the penis. The balls do something that I don't like, which is they still try to produce testosterone and also they're in the way. They're a hindrance. I'd like to get rid of them. But the penis is kind of like, I'm not that bothered. You're fine. Just, you can stay. The boys can go. You're alright. And to remove damaged testes after testicular torsion. Okay, so what I need to do, okay. I need to give myself testicular torsion to have them removed. Will that work? I think I need to Google something after stream. Anyway, I'm not going to do that. I'm not. You're not helping. You found out today you can get an orgy with local anesthetic. How wild would that sensation be? I know, right? That'd be weird. How wild would it be to get any sort of surgery with local? Like, that happens. I know that happens. I've heard of people getting, like, I think having their appendix removed while they're awake. Stuff like that. Like keyhole surgery. And I'm like, there's literally somebody with a whole bunch of tools there picking at the inside of your body. And you're sitting there just like, yeah. Someone's picking apart my insides right now. It's weird enough that I've been awake for having my wisdom teeth removed. And they gave me local, and it was still the most agonizing thing I've ever experienced. I've had 2 of them out. There are still 2 in there that I don't want to keep. Brain surgery has to be done while you're awake. That's interesting. Holy shit. That's wild. Legit seeing people who do DIY orchiectomies. I'm not... No. That's not going to happen. There's a massive Sonic the Hedgehog Christmas tree and decorations currently up in some shopping mall. That's badass. Hell yes. Don't know a single person who will say, my god, what a gorgeous set of balls you got. Why not? Wow, you've got some really handsome balls there. Wisdom teeth suck, especially if they dry socket, which all 4 of them did. Oh. Did I see your Orchi video? No, I did not. They need to keep you awake for brain surgery so they can tell immediately if they cut the wrong neurons. Yeah. Had keyhole surgery in the eyes, injected artificial lenses, then used little robotic limbs to unfold the lens and place it in front of my natural lens. Science is fucking crazy. Holy shit. You'd compliment someone's balls. Feels like something out of a porno. Do people say porno these days? Wow, you've got such a great set of balls. Who's doing that? Who's going and saying that to people? Science talks, wild stuff. Yeah, we're all over it at the moment. How you going, Cyberheart? Orchie just after waking up. Say porno. It's a weird word. Here we go. We can have a look at it's on YouTube, so I'm assuming it's safe for work. I'm assuming it's safe for work, Forlorn. Can we watch? Are we all good? We're not going to see anything, are we? Prawn. I don't watch porn, so I don't refer to it often. I'm just going to come right out and say it. I don't watch porn. I'm not invested in the adult material market anymore. I mean, I've got a few friends who will post entire whole on Twitter sometimes, and I'm like, cool. Okay. And like their tits and their cocks and whatever else they've got going on. Which is great, it's fine. I'm just like not going seeking pornography personally. Did I see your Orchi comment? Oh yeah, it really takes balls. Could I take a look at the story you posted above? Oh yeah, hi. So your dad is a doctor and likes to tell the story about the time when he was a junior doctor in a hospital. Where did I get local from? A young man needed emergency heart surgery. They put him under a local anesthetic, put up a curtain so he couldn't see, and just cut open his rib cage. He was delirious and said, "Why is my chest wet?" Because he could feel the blood dripping. Holy crap, that's wild. That's so crazy. Holy shit.
So today is June 22nd, 2011. About 5 days ago, I shaved my body basically in preparation for my surgery.
2011, there we go.
Last night I made sure not to eat or drink anything beforehand, and then this morning I washed my body with this special
10 years fucking poggers.
Antibacterial soap.
Orchiectomy anniversary edition.
I just skipped my hair entirely.
This is Forlorn.
So that was pretty much all my surgical
Was that one
prep.
guy who removed his own appendix?
And like I said, I haven't been taking hormones for 2 months. So we got to the surgery at 6.
That's something I would like to ask. So did you have to stop taking hormones? Like, was that part of the procedure? Like, you had to actually actively stop taking hormones? I mean, would this be a would that have changed in the last 10 years? Though I suppose medical procedures are not going to stay exactly the same.
And then I
happy anniversary on the 10 years.
And I was transferred from the blood work to my waiting room at 6:22. By 7, a little before 7:30, I was transferred to the pre-surgical waiting room where I got put on a stretcher. They started my IV, and
those are fun.
You know, a bunch of doctors came and talked to me a bit.
It's a lot of waiting around before surgery. I bet, yeah. Like, did I tell you about the time that I went to hospital with like a heart problem. Like, I don't know what it was. They ran every fucking test they possibly could. Came back with nothing. I went there at like 2 a.m. Didn't leave till nearly 7 a.m. And I had thingy in my hand for like 5 hours. They did every possible test they could. Chest x-ray, blood tests. And here I am feeling like my heart's about to explode out of my chest. Yeah, we found nothing. Just fucking hate hospitals.
Mostly anesthesiologists. Eventually, Christine came there, Christine McGinn, and she just finished up talking about the actual surgery. Very, very brief. Nobody really talked about exactly what was going to happen. So, they asked me if I wanted some calming medication. I said no, I was fine.
I think you did the captions for this too. Hang
I think
on.
most people take that, but
Can we put them on?
the biggest thing was just feeling
Autoplay.
cold from all the stuff they were putting on me, and like
I can't see it
little
there.
sensors, and just the rooms, especially the surgery room, was cold. I think I went into the surgery room about 8:15. You know, they did start some kind of IV medication, and they put the oxygen mask on me, and I
Were
kept
you awake
thinking,
for it?
am I
Yeah.
supposed to try to go to sleep or no? So I kept closing my eyes and like, oh wait, I better keep my eyes open so they know I'm not like faking it or something. So I was breathing this oxygen, and then I woke up at 9:45. So I mean, in the meantime, obviously they put the thing in my throat to help me breathe a little bit easier. It didn't actually control my breathing. I was told it was just sort of like to clear my, make sure I don't choke on my tongue or anything.
There you go, in the Discord under selfies.
Hypothetically, the surgery took 30
anyone
minutes.
wants to join the
so
Discord.
within
Thank
that
you for
hour.
continuing your
Oh,
membership.
thank you so kindly for the 3 months.
Riverbait
Tier 1.
Pumpkin Peepo.
What does it say? Riverbait Pumpkin Peeper. Thank you so kindly for the tier 1. How you doing?
Actual surgery happened, and I woke up at 9:45, so it was about half an hour after I got to that surgical waiting room at 9:15, and I was a little bit out of it in terms of like feeling kind of groggy and lightheaded and stuff like that. As far as pain level, right now, it feels sort of like a rash would feel.
Pretty simple surgery. Yeah, I wouldn't imagine it to be overly complex. Like a full GCS, SRS, what do we call it these days? Full bottom surgery would be a much more complex surgery, I would imagine. Whereas Orchie is just pretty much cut the balls out, isn't it? I don't know, aside from whatever else they might do.
Sort of like I shaved too close, which I did 5 days ago, so it feels kind of like that. My throat's a little bit sore, but it's
Click here to be taken to the official Rogue Bitch Discord server. Fucking hell. I keep finding things I haven't changed. Oh my god.
really not as bad as I thought. It'd be
Vaginoplasty? Yeah.
at this point. My
I've had
lips
that
aren't
one
even
turned
that dry, and I'm kind of just giddy and happy overall. So, it's definitely a good day. I think I'll be discharged from here to the hotel, and then we'll have to see if the pain gets much worse. I imagine it might.
Hello, Psychedelic. How's it
So,
going?
one of the things is they apparently were supposed to give me prescriptions for antibiotics and pain relievers, and I never got those, so doctor's gonna give me those prescriptions. And, I took a peek down there and I couldn't really see anything different, so until I actually get a good chance to, look at what's going on down there.
Discharged same
Just
day,
a
drove
big
home
ice
next
pack
day.
on it right
Wow.
But, my friends are about to laugh about the fact that I can't tell whether or not I have balls inside my scrotum.
Thing for me is I want a vagina, but also don't hate my penis, and the surgery and recovery seems like a lot for me to handle. Yeah, that's the thing too. Is like full bottom surgery seems incredibly daunting, honestly. There's a lot involved. I wouldn't deter anyone from trying to get it. I'm just not sure if I could handle it. It's one of those things where I would have, I'm sort of on the fence about getting it.
So, I haven't actually got to see the incisions yet, but there's going to be some kind of glue over them, surgical glue that will come off in a few days. I won't have to shower for a couple days either, but that's pretty much par for the course for me, so...
Two trans friends came with you, that's
my showering
cool.
routine. When I get dirty, I shower, so... But hopefully there'll be no bleeding.
You also got to get electrolysis,
no infection,
no hairs left.
And not much pain, so I can... Hopefully not even... I probably will have to take the antibiotics anyway, but I might not even have to take the pain medication. I'll just be back to normal. And
Don't see the selfie channel. You might need to accept like the rules role. There's There's a role in there that unlocks basically the entire server that you have to accept in the role queue channel or whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called. Let me have a look really quickly. In the rule board, I think you have to click the purple heart, which gives you access to, or is it the green heart? Please look at deleted channel. I'm going to have to like fix that rules thing up. But if you, the thing where the react bot is like react to the purple heart and then...
I'll try to take it easy even if I feel good, but, I expect that I might feel more pain in the near future. So I'm just going to drink my apple juice. Also, I've been like practicing fasting for the past few Fridays, so I'm probably gonna go without food for a while, just in case, so I don't get nauseous. But I did buy some trail mix, like different nuts and stuff to eat, and I've got crackers.
There we go. I've
here.
edited the rule book. I didn't realize how bad that was.
I wonder if I'll get to even talk to the doctor before I'm discharged. But, so the next update will be maybe from my hotel room, telling everybody how awesome I am.
That's awesome. Congratulations on that. 10 years, by the way. That's so cool. Do you think Sonic practices fasting? Kind of wish you could just not have genitals at all, to be honest. I wonder if is there a surgery for that that would like just give you no genitals for whatever reason? There are non-binary no genital surgeries, but they're really new and not really widely studied. Pretty sure it's just one surgeon or two. I wonder what like specifically they would do. Like whether it's just a tiny little urethra hole. That's interesting. That's really interesting. I'm curious about that now. We're not going to get into Ridley Scott tonight. I got so many news stories here because I thought we'd get into the news. We ended up spending like a third of the stream talking about Daphne Dorman, and then the rest of the stream talking shit. We got 15 minutes left. Should we talk about Rittenhouse really quickly, or should we move on to something else? We could probably come back to the Rittenhouse thing tomorrow. I don't know. I meant to do it tonight. Where is it? I did have the news thing. Look up the surgeries Christina Jorgensen had to go through. Post a link in the chat with the very graphic pictures. Oh, probably shouldn't show them on stream. Probably don't put it in the Discord somewhere. Pretty much what they gave her at the beginning. No genitals. Oh goodness. Did I? I don't think I actually saved a link to the Rittenhouse thing. I was sure I had one. Oh no, here we go. Let's just have a quick look at this. We can watch that Keffels video. Let's watch the Keffels video. Let's watch Keffels' video. Because, yeah, we like Keffels.
Every year, men spend billions of dollars to look at fat boys with little clothing on, or with no clothing on, such as on internet sites and in so-called men's magazines. That's why, over the course of 30 years of asking high school and college students if they would first try to save fat boys or a stranger, 2/3 have always voted against the person. They either don't know what they would do, or they actually vote for the fat boys. Many adults now vote similarly. Why? There are two reasons. One is that with the denial of the authority of higher values, such as religious teachings, people increasingly make moral decisions on the basis of how they feel. And since just about everybody feels more for fat boys than for a stranger, many people simply choose fat boys. The other reason is that once you get rid of Judeo-Christian values, there's no reason for elevating human worth over that of cat boys. Nazi Germany and the various communist regimes all rejected Judeo-Christian values and spend billions of dollars to look at cat boys with little clothing on. And only by rejecting Judeo-Christian values could communist regimes spend billions of dollars to look at cat boys with no clothing on. More and more people believe that even if it would lead to a cure for cancer or AIDS, it would be wrong to experiment on cat boys. Gay men. They are as aroused by pictures of naked cat boys as heterosexual men are aroused by pictures of naked cat boys. And the average heterosexual man is excited countless times a day simply by seeing cat boys in person, on billboards, in magazines, on television, and even in his imagination.
Cat boys, yes.
The effect of the visual in men is so powerful that it even amazes men. A man came over to me after hearing me lecture on male sexuality and said, "I've got a story to tell you. I spend billions of dollars to look at cat boys with little clothing on." Here was a perfectly normal, responsible man who found himself excited countless times a day simply by seeing cat boys. That's how instinctive it is for men to look at cat boys' flesh. That's why you see ads on billboards, on TV, and in magazines for every sort of product a man might buy, accompanied by a cat boy. Men are socialized into viewing cat boys as sex objects. None of this is in any way meant to excuse inappropriate male behavior. Men must always control themselves. But to deny the power of cat boys on men is like denying that the earth is round. So, are you more valuable than cat boys? That depends on your value system. Once you get rid of Judeo-Christian values, there's no reason for elevating human worth over that of cat boys. Until the left and all the institutions influenced by the left acknowledge how evil cat boys has been, we will continue to live in a morally confused world. In the meantime, all good people owe it to the victims of cat boys to learn what happened to them. Even worse than being murdered or enslaved is a world that you spend billions of dollars to look at cat boys with little clothing on, or with no clothing on, such as on internet sites and in so-called men's magazines. I'm Dennis Prager.
Fucking great. Thank you, Keffels, by the way. Fucking Christ, that's amazing. I should have watched that earlier. I don't know why I didn't. Cat boy. Dennis isn't a flat earther. Yeah, everyone go unsub from PragerU right now. Surprised that PragerU is taking such a strong round earth stance. They can't go all the way into ridiculous conspiratorial territory, or nobody will take them seriously. See, like, the flat earth thing is patently ridiculous. Everyone with any semblance of a brain cell can look at the flat earth thing and go, that's some dumb bullshit. Like, even the people who believe in the flat earth thing are looking at other flat earthers and going, at least I'm not as stupid as that guy. Can anyone truly prove there were no cat boys in the Bible? Do they explicitly describe anyone's not a cat boy? I'm just saying. Cain and Abel may well have been. Dennis is not a flat earther, but this video is proof he is pro-flat. Flat earth is a marketing scam made to sell more anti-Semitism. It really is, though. They happily do go into insane conspiracy theories. Oh, they do. Fascists usually believe dumb shit, so you're a little surprised. Excuse me. Didn't realize until a few years ago that there are hollow earthers too. Yeah, the hollow earthers are an interesting one. I haven't looked too deeply into them, but you know. Anyway, so did anyone see the Flat Earth documentary where they do an experiment and it shows the curvature of the Earth? I saw the clip from that, which is hilarious. Where is it? So hang on. Let's see if we can find it. Hello, Fina. How you doing? Where is it? Hang on. Flat Earthers accidentally proved themselves wrong. Round the bend? Is that... No, I don't want to get unlimited web access to your website. When Flat Earthers accidentally spend... when Flat Earthers spent $20,000 trying to prove Earth is flat and accidentally proved it's round. Hollow Earthers have a lot to say about Nazis. Apparently Adolf is still alive in there. Some watched Journey to the Center of the Earth and thought it was a documentary. Riverboat Jack showed us a Jubilee video where they had flat earthers debating the idea with scientists. That sounds interesting. I should watch that. In what may be one of the most satisfying TV moments we can recall, a group of conspiracy theorists have accidentally spent thousands of dollars to prove that yes, actually, the Earth is round. The scene in a new Netflix documentary called Behind the Curve, which follows a group of flat earthers, a small but growing contingent of people who firmly believe in a conspiracy to suppress the truth that the Earth is flat. I'm curious what the reasoning is. Why would there be a conspiracy to suppress the truth that the Earth is flat? What's the reason there? What's the justification for suppressing that truth? Like, why? Seen an engineer flat earther making all the wrong claims. Not sure if the whole channel was trolling or not, though. One of those flat earthers is Bob Knodel, I don't know, who hosts a YouTube channel entirely dedicated to the theory and who is one of the team relying on a $20,000 laser gyroscope to prove the Earth doesn't actually rotate, except it does. What we found is when we turned on that gyroscope, we found that we were picking up a drift, Knodel explains. A 15 degree per hour drift. Now, obviously, we were taken aback by that. Wow, that's kind of a problem. We obviously were not willing to accept that, so we started looking for easy to disprove. It was actually registering the motion of the Earth. You know what they say, if your experiment proves you wrong, just disregard the results. We don't want to blow this, you know, Knodel then says to another flat earther. When you got $20,000 in this freaking gyro, if we dumped what we found right now, it would be bad? It would be bad. What I just told you was confidential. If you're keen to see this scene and so much more, Behind the Curve is available on Netflix now. I've heard that thing, but who's seen the thing where there's like the two guys? Hang on. Let me find it. There's a video. Flat Earthers prove Earth is round. Inside a Flat Earth convention where nearly everyone believes Earth isn't round. There was a video of these two dudes trying to do like a thing with, were they trying to do the experiment that, Carl Sagan talked about this particular thing, like how this guy in ancient times proved the Earth is round, proved the Earth is not flat. They tried to do the same experiment with like, was it the gyroscope? And we did just read about the gyroscope thing. Eratosthenes, it's Eratosthenes is who I'm thinking of. Eratosthenes, there we go. Of Cyrene was a Greek polymath, mathematician. Anyway. He conducted an experiment that proved the Earth was round. These flat earthers basically tried to recreate the experiment to prove it was flat. And the results were like they were holding some boards and shining a light through a hole in the boards, right? And their thought was, you know, our boards will be at exactly the same position, exactly the same height, or something like that. And I'll shine my light through, and it should go through your board. Like, so you got a board with a circle in it. I'll shine a flashlight through it, and the flashlight should shine through your board with the hole. It's from the same movie. This experiment, I think is this the one? Fucking, well, that's, this might be it, I think. Hang on, is this it? Yeah, this is it. This is it. This is fucking great.
You have a backup experiment. If you're seeing through this hole, through the next hole, and seeing the light at the backboard, or at 17 feet off the water, the Earth is flat. If he's holding it up at 23 feet high and we're seeing the light, well, that's because the Earth's curved. So I should only be able to see it when it's at 17 feet. Okay, go ahead and drive down there, Enrique. You're gonna hold the light there. Enrique, how high is your light?
17 feet.
I mean, you know, it's as, We don't see you, Enrique. Lift up your light way above your head. Interesting.
Oh, good lord. It's a classic. It's the best thing in the world. I love it. Oh no! We might have proven ourselves wrong. Now what do we do? Maybe the light was blocked by Catboy Hitler's tail poking up from the outer crust. Yeah, the Curb Your Enthusiasm. The video is literally called Curb Your Enthusiasm. I love this, by the way. I search flat earthers prove Earth isn't round. Or prove Earth is round. The flat Earth model is an archaic conception of Earth's shape as a plane or disk. Many ancient cultures subscribe to a flat Earth cosmography, including Greece until the Classical period, the Bronze Age, and Iron Age civilizations of the Near East until the Hellenistic period, and China until the 17th century. It's funny how like YouTube is even telling you off for daring to look it up. It's fucking hilarious. Oh, goodness me. Alxamoxoa. Yeah, the Carl Sagan clip is quite good, but we might not watch that one tonight. It's just honestly great. I'm astounded. I am perpetually astounded that flat earthers continue to exist. There are so many things that are scientific discourse. There are so many people that refuse to believe in the modern science that already exists. But, we have no reason to continue proving that the Earth is round. It's one of those things where we're just like, okay, that one's done. File it away. We're aware of the fact that the Earth is round. It's not flat. There's no reason to continue studying this. I mean, there are still cosmologists and stuff that do things. But realistically speaking, prove the Earth is round. We're done with that topic. There's still this weird group of people who are ludicrously obsessed with this idea that there simply must be a conspiracy to keep down those chosen few who know the truth that the Earth is actually a disk. How the hell did Abby read that album title without any issue? Is Abby a deadhead? I'm just good at reading weird words sometimes, apparently. Literally proven before Christ. Yeah, there we go. It's Professor Dave. The Professor Dave vid there is also a classic. Oh, I'll have to look at that. We can continue on the Flat Earther thing tomorrow night if you want. We didn't get into the Rittenhouse trial, and we're not going to. We'll do Rittenhouse tomorrow. Well, I promise. We'll do Rittenhouse tomorrow. Because, yeah, we sort of got distracted. So, wait, Deadhead, what's that? What's the Grateful Dead? The Living Dead? See, this is how you know I'm not a Deadhead. I don't know what band you're referring to. I know it refers to a band. Grateful Dead. Yeah. I'm aware of that. 100 viewers. Yes, Kiara. How you going? What's going on? We're going to send those 100 viewers at someone else in a moment. Need to get ready for today. Have a good rest of the stream. Well, the rest of the stream is about 2 minutes. It's been fun tonight. We've had a wild one. No Rittenhouse. I know, I clickbaited you all. I didn't get into Rittenhouse because we started talking far too much about Daphne Dorman. Honestly, I probably should have left that issue well enough alone, but you know. My popularity grows and grows. If I have a partner tick in the next 12 months, I'll be surprised. I feel like I can't maintain this. I don't know. Can I aim my raid at a trans? I raided Radholm last night, so I probably won't raid Radholm again tonight. Who can I raid though? Lance is playing King's Field. Jaded Peanut 40. I probably shouldn't raid someone who's playing a game after we've been discussing discourse. I don't know. Namaroff is playing Disco Elysium, which would be rather topically relevant. Lance is always a fun raid. I like Lance McDonald a lot. Laura Blake is doing Trans Awareness Week stream. Pixel's always there. We could raid Pixel. Let's go say. Oh, hang on. She's doing an interview. Hang on. I'll let this ad play. Gonna grow exponentially until my viewership exceeds the population of the Earth. It's literally a pyramid scheme. So, like, everyone who is viewing right now, go and tell 2 of your friends to watch my next stream. And then we'll get every one of them to get 2 of their friends, and we'll just keep doing that. Over and over and over again. Should raid Ninja. Wait, Ninja is Ninja back on Twitch? What's the deal with Ninja lately? Is Ninja streaming on Twitch? I don't even know. Do we get channel points for recruiting friends? That would be interesting, actually. How would you do that? I mean, my friend Noom, who's playing Forza Horizon 5 at the moment, has developed an extension that allows channel points to interact with OBS. So you can actually set up channel point redeems that do something on here, which is neat. I haven't incorporated it myself, but I might be doing so in the not too distant future. I don't know how exactly, but there might be certain redeems I could add to this. USA hole. Have I not? I feel like I've... Wait, was Ninja seriously in Free Guy? Are you kidding me? You're kidding me. Well, I know he, I know he went to Mixer. Mixer died, and he came back to... Didn't he go to YouTube for a bit? I don't know. And then he came back to Twitch. I guess full time. I suppose. Am I not following USA Hole? I thought I was following USA Hole. Draco. It's Nova Mara's birthday stream. Let's have a look. Hang on. There's so many people I should raid. It's so intimidating. Who do I raid? Jacksepticeye. Or should I raid Jacksepticeye, should I? We could raid Nova Mara if you want. That'd be cool. Playing Choice Chamber. What's Choice Chamber? I don't know what Choice Chamber is. Depends. This is the thing is like, who do I want to send? Who do you want to send me to as a community? There's so many choices here. And I feel like as a Just Chatting streamer, I should probably try raiding other Just Chatting streamers. You know, send you on to... Ooh. Rainbow Zilla's doing Bloodborne. I'm getting distracted now. You love Nova? Let's go to Nova, because birthday stream, what better way to celebrate a birthday than to get rated by 105 viewers on twitch.television.com/internet.au. Or at least we'll try to get as many as 100 as I've got here on my dashboard. It says 105. I'm only seeing 86 viewers are ready to raid. Click that ready to raid button. Join in. We'll be live tomorrow night. We'll catch up on the Rittenhouse thing tomorrow because it's been an interesting discourse to say the least. Thank you everybody for hanging out tonight. I will try to get that video on the Daphne Dorman thing up on Friday because that was an interesting little bit of, you know, the whole narrative there was completely wrong. But anyway, yeah, I will be back tomorrow, 9 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Presumably. I don't imagine there would be any reason that would change, but you never know. Things might happen. Trying to go for a full week of consistent streams. Fingers crossed we can get back to that 5 streams a week thing. Anyway, thank you everybody for hanging out. It's been lovely seeing you here. Been lovely having you here. Always remember, be kind to yourselves and each other. I love your faces, and I'll see you when I'm looking at you.